Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to another live 40k podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, you've missed the live bit. How dare you? That's shocking. Oh, no. But we do these live every single week on Twitch. Now, normally I tell you that we have a schedule up on Twitch. That is true. We do normally have a schedule up on Twitch. And we normally have a schedule up on Facebook. And that schedule will have told you that we're filming or recording on Sunday. If you missed it and you're now catching this on YouTube, that's partly my fault because I didn't actually put it massively out on normal social media that we're moving the stream. But we are moving the stream. And we're moving the stream because we have two brand new books to review. I said we would do this as soon as we got GW support. We've got this one, the nice Iron Hands one, and there's Brom holding up the Raven Guard one. Look. So Games Workshop very kindly gave us these brand new codexes to review and talk about, and we said we do live streams that other people don't really do. So we've got these books to talk about tonight. They're two new supplements. I've had a skim through them already. Brom's had a little bit of a skim, but not so much. We're going to do a bit of a read through. I'm very excited by them. They're really cool.
They are very cool.
They're really, really cool books. They're really good. There is some other types of videos about these. If you are interested in seeing pre-recorded reviews, for example, not like this one, which is a live stream, then check out Winter's SEO, and he's got two pre-recorded reviews of both books. And he's a Marine player as well, so he knows what he's talking about.
He's got all sorts of combo ideas. He's just his brain is already whirling. He's already gutted. He's got some other traits.
So if you do know that there's a new release coming and you're gutted that you missed the stream, keep an eye on the Warhammer Facebook page because the moment we're allowed to talk about it will tell you when the stream is coming for the new release stuff. So the second we're allowed to say, so when you see every other YouTuber drop their video, if you check the Warhammer Facebook page, it will say, we've got the new codexes, the stream will be tonight, tomorrow night, Monday night. And it does depend on my work pattern, unfortunately. That's the only restricting factor is when I'm working.
Yeah.
And there you go. Otherwise, if you head on over to Twitch, search for Morehammer Liam, hit follow, and make sure your notifications are turned on. Then when we do go live, it will show you've gone live, and you can come and join us live on Twitch.
Yep.
Some of the more in-depth and detailed books, we won't do complete read-throughs because we're more interested in doing Q&A type stuff as well. So the chat in Twitch can ask us questions about these books, and that can spark discussion points and all sorts of stuff. So look out for that as well. Now, the channel has been very busy expanding and doing all kinds of extra stuff with social media. So not only have we got Facebook, we also have Instagram. And not only do we have Instagram as a channel, but all the separate channel members have their own Instagrams as well, don't they, Morehammer Brom?
Oh, definitely. Morehammer Brom does have a channel.
And Morehammer Chris and Morehammer Mikey. Yeah.
Yep.
We've also now started kicking the arse of, say, Hypal and the Claw and Chewy.
Oh, my life.
And they're all starting Instagram as well.
Teaching them Instagram's amazing.
It's incredible.
There's been some great how to take a selfie moments with the introduction to the chin and the up top angle.
Yeah.
So you get
I got told you have to take it from higher, and apparently mine wasn't very good.
No, the way I've been told is basically top down, so you just get the top of your head, but then apply the chin, and it gives you definition.
Exactly.
It's basically that.
We're all on Instagram, so head on over to Instagram, search for Morehammer. If you search for Morehammer alone, you'll find all the Morehammer team members listed below the search. So, and there's loads of cool stuff going on there. There's behind the scenes work in progresses, battle report shots.
School,
I don't think we
40k
did.
school.
I don't think we did one for tonight, did we?
I haven't. No.
Oh.
I'll be told off, but the.
have we?
I will be.
Okay. Oh well, but
it's fine.
We do have Facebook. Another way to keep up to date, we have just recently launched. Now this is on YouTube. It will be a few days ago. If you're watching this on Twitch Live, it was yesterday. We have recently launched a brand new Patreon page for a brand new Discord, which is the deploymentzone.tv Discord. So it's not the Morehammer Discord. It's not the Winter's SEO Discord. It's a DCTV Discord with a brand new patron attached to that. What that means is we're asking people if they would like to transfer across to the new Patreon and come and join us in the new hobby community. And we're starting to streamline like a proper business and stuff and things.
Yes, and things and stuff.
Yeah, and it makes more sense. And now you get Winters and I in the same Discord at the same time. You don't have to go to multiple different places to try and support us. So it's just another way of joining us on Deployment Zone.
And there is a lot in there.
There is a lot in there. It's kicked off. I did not think we would get that many new people in a day. That was mental.
It was just insane.
It didn't stop.
Welcome. Well, I'm just not going to...
Yeah, absolutely. So it was crazy. It is already an incredible community. A bunch of guys from the Warhammer community jumped across. A bunch of guys from the Winters community jumped across. And it's already an incredible place. We learnt loads from our first hobby community. We learnt loads from the Warhammer Discord. And we've applied all those lessons to the new one. We've applied those new lessons to the new Patreon. If you check them out, there's rewards on there. One thing I want to clarify, because people have asked this question a lot, being a Patreon of deploymentzone.tv does not give you access to the videos on the DZTV website. Being a subscriber on the DZTV website does not give you access to the community. They're two separate entities. It means you can pick one and not the other if you want to. So I just to clear that up. So if you want to just watch the videos and you don't care about the community, that is fine. You can do that. If you want to be in the community but you don't really want to watch the videos because you don't want any more videos, you've got enough to watch anyway, you can do that. So there's both options.
Yep.
Which is important that people know that. Cool. I think we've covered all that admin stuff, haven't we?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's it. I'm trying
there's loads of extra exciting stuff coming, and loads of it we can't talk about yet as well. So I just keep people on the edge.
In the Discord, it's aimed at the community. It is a community. It's not just about 40k. It's about everything. So there's loads of other bits and pieces in there. So 30k, other gaming systems, furry friends, D&D.
Furry friends, yeah. It's not explicit. Don't worry. No, it's actual cats.
It's actually cats. I wasn't sure that was meant to be there. But so there's loads in there. So come say hi. Even a claw.
Son of Olympia says pick both. Absolutely pick both. Yeah, we've also got all the regulars from DZTV in there. You Steve Not Robs, Rob Not Steve's, The Claw, Chewy, Say Hi Paul, Mikey P, Brom, all those people. So there's loads of guys in there. Right. Anyway, let's get into the meat and bones of this main podcast. Let's talk about what it is. So, Games Workshop recently released a brand new Space Marine Codex. It wasn't version 2, it was a brand new Space Marine Codex. We did a review of it on the channel. Well, we did a sort of sit and talk and a Q&A of it on the channel, and we were very impressed by the new Space Marine Codex. It was really nice.
Yes.
They also brought out their first Codex Space Marine supplement with it. Which was Ultramarines. And White Scars, yeah.
Everyone forgets that. I've forgotten it.
So this is important, actually. This is something I want to talk about before we even started. Everyone does forget the White Scars one. Yeah. And why?
Because Ultramarines is amazing.
Because the White Scars one was good, but it wasn't exceptional.
No, it was probably the right sort of level, but it didn't have that extra spark, did it?
No.
Ultramarines had the spark because it's Ultramarines, and it was just...
When you compared it to the Ultramarines one, the Ultramarines one seemed significantly better in most ways.
Yes.
Now, I liked the White Scars one. I didn't think it was bad.
No.
But I do think the Ultramarines one was better. So people tend to forget about the White Scars one, which is interesting. We did speculate at the time, we didn't know this is a fact, that they would probably do supplements for every other chapter within the Codex. And this weekend's release would indicate that we were probably right. We don't know that yet because we haven't yet seen Black Templars, we haven't yet seen Salamanders, we haven't yet seen, not Crimson Fists.
Imperial Fists.
Imperial Fists, thank you. Or Crimson Fists for that matter, so... It's interesting that there is that there's 2 more supplements, and it would obviously show us that they're probably going to drop 2 supplements at a time. I would guess it just kind of makes sense. So we've got 2 new supplements. We've got the brand new Iron Hand supplement and the brand new Raven Guard supplement. So if you like Marines painted in black, these are probably the 2 drops for you.
There isn't a lot of colour in there.
And I honestly think they're both actually very, very viable choices.
I would think that one of them is extremely viable, very easily, very quickly, and the other one, you'll see some very, very clever players going down that line.
The one that you're talking about, the Iron Hands book, which I have in front of me, we're going to start with it. Now, we're going to start with the Iron Hands book for one main reason, because the Raven Guard one's my favourite.
And I don't disagree. I'm quite a fan of this.
It's really good.
The book you're holding right now, I'm quite scared of it.
But I don't like. So it's good. It's a good book.
Yeah, it's very good.
Iron Hands are now very good. That is a fact. Iron Hands are now good. Are they as turbo strong broken as the internet is currently leading us to believe?
No.
This sort of fallout happens every time new Marine stuff comes out. It's really common. We see it all the time.
It won't be absolutely game breaking. They're not broken. They're probably not going to be complete cheese. And although people are comparing them as night killers and vehicle killers, that's what they are. They will be.
I would also state as well that what I do love about the strength of the Iron Hands book, and I do categorically think it's very strong, is it gives Marine players who are starting a new Marine army, specifically if they're making perhaps a successor chapter in their own colour schemes, it gives them a viable option to be super strong and not be Ultramarines.
Yes, I like that.
And that's really important.
This is my favourite thing about the new supplements, is that I might have a Marine force that not everyone has, because I'll stay Ultramarines.
Right, okay.
And others will change because there is so much other flavour in there.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've got it right here. We've got the new Iron Hands book. We're going to start with the Iron Hands book, and I'm going to do a skim read. So we'll talk about, for example, the Sons of the Gorgon get a new rule called Calculated Fury. We'll talk about that for a bit. Then we'll talk about the Warlord traits, and we'll maybe chat about those, and we'll move on to some of the stratagems and some of the relics and stuff. I'm not going to cover everything because we'll be here until midnight, and I've got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning again for work. I don't want to do that. Cool. So Sons of the Gorgon. This is the Iron Hands. It's important. So what they already showed with White Scars and what they showed with Ultramarines is that in addition to combat doctrines, they gain an additional bonus when a specific doctrine is active.
Yep.
This is the exact same for Iron Hands and White Scars. So not White Scars, sorry, Iron Hands and Raven Guard. So it is the exact same. They get an additional bonus to their combat doctrines. The Iron Hands one is specifically active whilst the Devastator Doctrine is active. Now, a point to note already, there's been FAQs out for the new Space Marine Codex. You have to have everything in your army has to have the Adeptus Astartes keyword in order to get Angels of Death, whatever it is, to gain combat doctrines. So we did speculate originally that if you paid 85 points for a new assassin, it wouldn't affect it. It does. The FAQ says it does. So if you pay 85 points for an assassin in your army, you do not gain combat doctrines. And combat doctrines, I think, are so good, you're going to want them and you're not going to want to take an assassin.
My amazing paint jobs on my couple of assassins are definitely going to waste.
Interestingly, what you want to do now is not take an assassin. Instead, take a Supreme Command detachment of Raven Guard and hunt characters that way, because they're much better.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Anyway, Sons of the Gorgon.
Yeah.
Their ability that goes hand in hand with their doctrine is called Calculated Fury. Yeah. Calculated Fury is, whilst the Devastator Doctrine is active, models with this ability do not suffer the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons. In addition, whilst the Devastator Doctrine is active, when resolving an attack made with a heavy weapon by a model with this ability, reroll hit rolls of 1. So, with heavy weapons, you can move and fire without penalty, and you get to reroll 1s even if you haven't got a captain nearby. That's quite a big deal.
Damn straight.
Because you have to remember as well, it is Devastator Doctrine active models with this ability, which means everything with Angels of Death, which means everything in the Space Marine Codex. So Predators.
Yeah.
Predators can move and shoot without penalty and reroll 1s without anything nearby.
Oh yeah.
Leviathan Dreadnoughts, should you choose to go that way.
Dreadnoughts in general.
Anything
the amount of heavy weapons on them.
Heavy plasma Hellblasters. Heavy plasma Hellblasters. No penalty for moving now.
Heavy Terminators, because that's one of the biggest things that we've seen with the Space Marines is that maybe rapid fire Stormbolters is the way to go, but actually
because assault cannons are hitting on 4s instead,
But actually, with Iron Hands, maybe there's still some options in there. Maybe.
Yeah.
So it makes other things like a little bit more viable, changes it up.
It makes. I honestly think this alone makes loads of stuff viable.
Repulsive spam ahoy is what we're getting from the chat.
Absolutely, but devs and drop pods. One person's already said this as well. But devs and drop pods are a thing now because you can get out with. It's almost like Skyhammer. You can get out with a pod of multi-melters, not suffer the penalty for moving once you've got out your drop pod. Reroll hit rolls of 1.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep.
And it's Devastator Doctrine. So your multi-melters at that point are AP -5.
Yeah.
Because Devastator Squad is active. What? And that's on turn 1. So essentially you can unload, should you choose to, a Devastator Squad. I mean, Devastator Squads are still max unit size of 10, right? So you can take a 10-man Devastator Squad and drop a number of multi-melters next to a vehicle, tank, anything. Actually, you want Knight even if you wanted to. And you can fire at full ballistic skill, rerolling 1s, and there's stratagems you can add as well that make things better, which is really, really good. Now, Brom has currently got the main Marine book in front of him.
Yeah.
So I also want you to find quickly for me the Iron Hands chapter tactic.
When resolving an attack made with this Warlord.
Warlord? What are you doing, Warlord?
Yeah. It's Warlord trait.
No, I don't want Warlord traits. I want chapter tactics. That's why I said chapter tactics.
Sorry, the chapter.
Brom's going to try reading live again. It's going to be interesting.
Hello. There we go. That was quite a good Warlord trait there. When a model with this tactic would lose a wound, roll a d6. On that 6, that wound is not lost. When resolving Overwatch made by a model with this tactic, it hits on a 5 or a 6. In addition, models with this tactic that have a damage table consider themselves to be double the number of wounds remaining for the purposes of determining what row they are on for damage.
And that was already quite strong because, as we noted previously, most of the Marine chapter tactics have sort of 2 parts to them, and the Iron Hands have 3.
Yep.
So they get 6 up, feel no pain, they Overwatch on 5s, and their vehicles count as double wounds. Exactly. And those vehicles that count as double wounds, as long as you keep your Devastator Doctrine active, they're firing at full ballistic skill with an additional AP -1 and rerolling hit rolls of 1. There's almost no reason to come out of Devastator Doctrine, depending on the type of list you build now with Iron Hands. I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm getting far too excited. But Vindicator rushing could be a thing. You can rush your Vindicators, fire at full ballistic skill, and reroll hit rolls of 1, and they're now D6 shots.
Yeah.
There actually could be a thing. I'm not saying they are definitely a thing, but they could be a thing.
All I see is ones in your life. That's all I see. I see ones in your life, and you're going to roll a 1 for the shot, and you're going to roll 1 for the damage. You're probably going to hit, and it'll hurt, but it's not going to hurt enough.
On the same page of Sons of the Gorgon, there's a load of spiel about successor chapters, and that's essentially the same as the White Scars and Ultramarines one. And what they mean by that is if you create your own successor chapter, you can have access to everything bar the relics, but you don't get access to the characters, etc., etc. Whilst we're talking about characters, there is a brand new character as well. Where is he? He's in here somewhere. We have the Iron Father Ferios. Let's talk about him very, very quickly. He is an Iron Father, so he's basically a pumped-up tech marine, and for 110 points, he's a monster.
Yeah, he's definitely a monster.
So his weapon skills 3, which is a little bit sad because his axe is pretty good. His ballistic skills 2+, strength 4, toughness 5, wound 7, attacks 5, and a 2-up save. He carries a bolt pistol, brilliant. Gorgon's Wrath, which is another type of weapon, which is heavy 3, AP 5, strength 5, AP -2, 2 damage. Don't forget, Devastator Doctrine active. Doesn't suffer the penalty for moving and firing that, and he hits on 2s, and it'll be AP -3. So strength 5, AP -3, 2 damage. His Harrow Hand is his bionic arm. That makes him strength 7 in total, AP -2 and 2 damage, and a servo arm, which is a servo arm. He can pick a unit within 3 inches of him, and they can shoot on a ballistic skill of 2+ instead of 3+. Again, you're picking a Devastator Squad, perhaps, of multi-melters or something. They will be hitting on 2s, and they won't be suffering the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons with the Devastator Doctrine active. It's a big deal. But it also says an Iron Hands unit. Doesn't have to be infantry. So much of this stuff now no longer has to be infantry. So you can select an Iron Hands unit that might be a Trilas Predator that's moved, but is within 3 inches of him, and now can still hit on 2s and reroll 1s. What? He's got a Master of the Forge ability, which basically, when he uses his Blessing of the Omnissiah to repair something, he doesn't do D3 wounds, he does flat 3 full stop. He has a 5-up feel no pain. And models, this is ridiculous. This rule alone, at 110 points, I think is one of the reasons why you'll also see him a lot. Models in friendly Iron Hands units have a 5+ invulnerable save while their unit is within 6 inches of this model. Not wholly within.
No.
So your Predators that you could be hitting at full ballistic skill, rerolling 1s, are suddenly have a 5-up invulnerable save as well, with a bloke in the middle who can heal 1 with flat 3, and there's a stratagem that you spend a single command point, I believe, and you can heal another vehicle, so you can put 6 wounds back a turn as well.
And then you have the Librarian that can also heal. Not
forgetting that those Predators are also doubling their basic wounds for determining what profile they're at, and with Dev Doctor active, their last cannons are AP -4.
So Iron Hands car park is definitely going to be a thing. Yeah, probably. I think so.
I mean, the other thing is with him as well, which is where they don't let themselves down. This is where they sort themselves out quite royally. In fact, the model's gorgeous.
Yeah, I know they've not done.
He is so cool, considering the state of the Raven Guard model. He is so cool. I want him, and I don't want Iron Hands. I just want him because he's cool.
I do like the Raven Guard model, apart from his head.
Yes, head swap good.
Head swap
mostly
good.
Okay. So obviously, alongside the normal Warlord traits you get in the Space Marines book, if you go on the Iron Hands route, you get Iron Hands Warlord traits. There are 6, as always. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are okay.
Yeah.
None of them are terrible, to be fair. So Adept of the Omnissiah. Basically, you can repair a friendly Iron Hands vehicle within an inch, and that gains 1 wound back. If you're a Tech Marines, you've already got Blessings on the side. You get D3+ wound back, D3+1 wound back instead of D3. So you just get an extra wound back.
What does he have?
He has the Student of History.
Okay.
Yeah,
which
is crap.
Okay.
That's the one that I was looking at last night going, that's probably the only one I don't think I would ever take. And that's what he's got. But you don't need his Warlord trait because his other abilities are so good.
So you just don't make him Warlord?
No, absolutely, yeah. Will of Iron, you can attempt to resist a psychic power. You basically get to deny the witch if you're within 24 inches as if you're a librarian. Ooh. If you are a librarian with Will of Iron, you get to deny twice, which is quite nice. Ooh. So you can take an Iron Hands army with no psychers, stick this on your Warlord, you get to deny a single psychic power. I like that they
modified it for if you do take a librarian. Because you don't often get that.
And what's also cool about it is that, because I run World Eaters quite often in my Chaos, and I have a stratagem for a command point on a 4+ I deny psychic power. This can be so useful sometimes to stop a psychic power. And they do it with a Warlord trait instead. and you get to try and deny with 2d6. So mine's just a 50-50 4-up.
Yeah.
Whereas if you roll a 5, for example, for your smite, I've got a better chance of stopping it now with the proper deny the witch test, which is quite cool. Number 3 in the chart is all flesh is weakness. When the warlord loses a wound, roll a d6 on a 5+. It's not lost, so he basically gains a 5+ for no pain. Student of history, this is the one he has. When the warlord consolidates, they can move up to 6 inches instead of 3 inches, and they do not have to end their move closer to the nearest enemy model.
That's amazing. I like that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's average.
I know it's
it's
situational.
not horrendous.
It's massively situational, but the point is, it's still that it is freedom. Freedom.
I just don't think it's anywhere near as good.
Because it's also 6 inches, not 3.
Then you have Merciless Logic, which is when resolving an attack made by this warlord on an unmodified hit roll of a 6, you can make an additional attack against the same target using the same weapon. This additional attack could generate another attack. That one's quite cool. And target protocols. At the start of your shooting phase, select one friendly Iron Hands unit within 6 inches of the warlord once per phase. Basically, once per phase. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model from that unit, you can reroll a hit roll. Once the phase, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model, you can reroll a wound roll and blah 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 damage roll. Essentially, so you get so it's not bad. It isn't bad.
It's not bad.
Again, thinking of a Trilast Predator. I'm going to go back to these a lot because this is where my mind was last night. The ability to reroll a hit roll with a last cannon that you can then reroll the wound roll if you fail. How often do you fire a single last cannon and then roll that 2 to wound when you need a 3?
Yeah, true.
It is a big deal.
So it's once per battle?
At the start of your shooting phase. So every shooting phase, you pick a unit and they get to reroll a hit, reroll a wound, and reroll a damage roll.
So you can make one unit a salamander.
Now think about the Vindicators, where you can reroll a hit roll, reroll a wound roll, reroll a damage roll.
Now Vindicator starts to become a little bit more
better.
consistent.
Yeah, a little bit better, absolutely. So it's not bad, it's okay.
Quadruple ones.
They're not the greatest. I wonder often,
not.
looking at some of those, whether you're going to see more of the Warlord traits from the normal Space Marine book in Iron Hands lists instead, because clearly they can still take the Warlord traits in the normal Space Marine book. They don't have to have the ones that are in the supplement. They just get access to them. Brom's frankly going to the normal Warlord traits now.
They have a few, but they have their own one in there as well about the when resolving attacks made by this warlord, an unmodified roll of a 6 can make an additional attack.
Is it called Merciless Logic?
It is. That one in there,
a minute ago.
Oh, boy. I was hoping there was 7 then. Oh, it's fine.
But they do have 12. They do have 12 warlord traits because they do have the 6 in the Space Marine book as well.
And they could have the Vanguard.
And
warlord trait.
In the Space Marine book, they still have Storm of Fire.
They do.
And that's what I would be looking at taking, in my opinion, with an Iron Hands list.
Why would you add another -1 to your AP? Does it stack as well? So
it stacks, yeah, absolutely.
Probably stacks.
So
stack. With your Devastator Doctrine. Why?
Well, you would do
because you're gonna stay in Devastator Doctrine.
I mean, it's a fair point,
so
actually.
You're going to be -5.
It's a fair point until you think about what's everyone's favourite Space Marine unit. Comes from Forge World, looks like a Pokeball.
Leviathan's on the favourite.
What's their AP minus on a Leviathan with the Storm Cannon? 1.
1. Yeah,
what's the AP minus with Devastator Doctrine active?
Yeah, 2.
What's it with Storm of Fire?
3.
AP minus 3 Storm Cannons.
On 6s. Yeah.
AP minus 3 Storm Cannons?
There's enough shots there.
AP minus 3 Storm Cannons.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
Hitting on 2-3 rolling ones because you're a Leviathan and not suffering the penalty for moving and firing those weapons.
Yeah. I mean, it could.
See where I'm going with it?
It could be a thing.
I am not saying everyone go out and buy Leviathans. Only dicks do that, especially when they're buying 3 of them. But that's a thing, though, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an option. There's other Forge World stuff out there that I think can heavily benefit from these, like the Derodeo and stuff like that. There's loads of options actually that Forge World have that are Carey's Pattern Assault Cannon Contemptors. Take a twin Carey's Pattern Assault Cannon Contemptor, for example, and then you get the extra bonuses to your AP on that as well with Dev Doctrine and Storm of Fire. There's some really nice combinations.
I've been looking at your autocannons.
I'm also looking at.
So your was it they stick 4 autocannons on a dread?
Yeah. You've also got Thunderfire cannons, and what's those other things that you were taking? Quad
cannons.
Quad launchers or whatever.
Quad blast cannon.
Loads of options there, actually.
Quad launcher.
So loads of options there where you can stack it with Dev Doctrine on heavy weapons that are AP minus 1 or 2 and make them really nasty. Really nasty.
Yeah.
Especially so auto cannons is a really good one actually because auto cannons are flat 2 damage and they're AP minus 1. So
not the pred ones though.
They're flat 3 damage, but still AP minus 1.
Yeah.
So with Dev Doctrine, you're talking AP minus 2. With Storm of Fire, you're talking AP minus 3. Suddenly, you are splatting Primaris Marines.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely splatting them, aren't you? Or things equivalent to that, to Primaris Marines. Even things like the new 3-wound Aggressors, gone with the Predator autocannon, with Dev Doctrine, and if you get Storm of Fire. So Storm of Fire, I think, is really useful. Axe of Medusa. We're on to relics, by the way. Now, the relics of Medusa. You've got the Axe of Medusa, which is a really cool power axe. Basically, there's no -1 to hit. There's strength +3, AP -3, flat 3 damage. It's all the 3s. Flat 3 damage is a real sweet spot because anything that's more than 2 wounds is flat 3. That's amazing. Not anything with 2 wounds is dead. Anything with 3 wounds is dead. And now we've got lots of things like Aggressors that come in. Custodes, flat 3 wounds. What are you doing? What are you flicking for?
We had a comment in the chat.
Okay.
That also agreed with me about it not stacking. So I'm seeing if it's in there.
All right, well, if you can prove that.
I know I can't. I'm probably not going to be able to. It's probably in an FAQ, so I'll have to have a look. But if it stacks, then yay.
Right, okay.
Cool, go for it. Sorry.
The Aegis Ferrum, Primaris model only. Interesting. Only Primaris model. Okay. I like it as well. This is really cool. But this is one of those abilities already. They show this once, twice, maybe 3 times within the book. Some people have got very not angry about it. They've got a bit like, wow, that's strong. This is one of them, and it is strong. Primaris model only. Add 1 to the toughness characteristic of a model with this relic. When resolving an attack made against that model, reduce any damage inflicted by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Yeah.
So it's like a serpent shield, but on an individual model. So you can put that on a captain or something like that. Make him toughness 5 or 6. What's a Primaris captain tough 4 normally?
Yeah, normal one.
Toughness 5, and he reduces damage by 1. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, because if you stick him in Gravis armor, it's up to toughness 6.
Okay. The chat, by the way, YouTube is screaming at me that doctrines don't stack, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've just spilled about that for 5 minutes and I wasn't right. The Mind Forge is a Force Sword. I really love this one. Just because it's for a librarian, clearly, because it's a Force Sword. Times 2 strength on a Force Sword, AP -3 and D3 damage.
Yeah, I know.
Now, Force Swords are normally strength user, AP -3 and D3 damage. This is times 2 strength. So strength 8 Force Sword, yes please, I like that.
They have got some seriously good weaponry.
The Betrayer's Bane is the next one, which replaces a Combi Melter. It's basically the same as a Combi Melter, apart from the Meltgun profile is Assault 2 rather than Assault 1. Now, this one I think is the one that's got people very upset. So now imagine your car park. Yeah, we've worked that out on the chat already.
I know. I'm reading page 109.
Now I'm imagining our current car park of Iron Hands, Death and Destruction.
Yep.
And I'm looking at the Ironstone. When resolving an attack made against an Iron Hands vehicle within 3 inches of a friendly model with this relic, reduce damage inflicted by 1 to a minimum of 1. So now you park an individual in between all of your Last Cannon Predators or all of your Vindicators, all of your Repulsors, or whatever it is you're building your car park to do, and they all reduce damage by 1. All of them.
Love it.
Like Serpent Shields.
Yep. So Hellblasters, overcharging. Yeah, there's no point.
And I cannot tell you how many times Serpent Shields has saved my ass when running my Wave Serpents. They are so good, Serpent Shields. I very rarely pop them unless I'm real desperate to strip a couple of wounds off of something, because it's just too useful to keep it alive. And now you can do it with a relic called the Ironstone. Yep. And this relic's in 8th edition. It's free. You don't pay for it. It's free. Stick it on pop it on a cheap HQ, bang him in the middle of your tanks, get your other 110 point character, bang him in there for your 5-up invulnerable save. You've got a 5-up invulnerable save that re-rolls, reduces damage rolls, but it's stupid. It's just stupid. The Tempered Helm is the next one. Roll a d6 for each command point you spend to use a stratagem. On a 5+, the command point's refunded, and you only have one. You can only have 1 command point refunded per battle round by this relic. I mean, we knew that was all right, but the age of farming isn't as good as it used to be.
No.
And when you look at the Ironstone above it, you're probably not going to. I mean, you're probably going to see the Ironstone more often than not, aren't you? To be fair,
you, even in the Ultramarines one, you don't see Adapt to the Codex as much.
Not anymore.
So I like that they've given them the option.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a filler. So it's a good filler.
They also have some really good stratagems, so it's worth looking at. But then you look at the Ironstone and reducing it's just, Gorgons Chain is back. The Gorgons Chain used to exist in the supplement for Iron Hands in 7th edition, and it was stupid good.
It was way past stupid good.
It's not so good now. A model with this relic has a 4+ invulnerable save. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against that model, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So it's not bad. Gives them an invuln, and means that if it would be a 3 to wound you, it's now a 4 to wound you. If it would be a 4 to wound you, it's now 5 to wound you. So it's not bad at all. It's good. But the Ironstone is just so good. I think that's going to be people's go-to relic.
Yeah.
because you can stick it in the middle, affect multiple units at the same time, because you just have to be within 3 inches, not wholly within, just within 3 inches, and you get any vehicle in that range gets damage reduced by 1, which is amazingly good.
Damn straight.
Yeah, then we have the special issue war gear. Special issue war gear now exists in every supplement, and the left-hand side of that page is the same in every supplement. Yeah. So those 4, and this is for people that. So if you're taking a successor chapter, you can't have relics of Medusa because you're not a inheritors of the Primarch, so you get special issue war gear instead, unless you play for a stratagem that allows you to take a relic of Medusa. So the front left, you've got Adamantine Mantle, which basically is a 5-up for no pain, Artificer Armor, 2-up save, 5-up invulnerable, Mastercrafted Weapon, and Digital Weapon. So Mastercraft Weapon is 2 damage, and Digital Weapons allows you to do a reroll, but if you roll a 1, you suffer a mortal wound, etc. Then we go on to the Iron Hand specific special issue war gears. Auto Medicae Bionics. If a model with this relic has lost any wounds at the start of your turn, it regains up to D3 wounds. So you've got things that self-heal, which is cool. The Teeth of Mars. A chainsword. Yes, a relic chainsword. That replaces the chainsword as the following profile. Strength user, AP -2, 2 damage.
It's better than the Teeth of Terror.
When the bearer fights, it makes 1 additional attack with this weapon. When resolving an attack made with this weapon against a vehicle, the weapon has a strength characteristic of ×2 for that attack.
Yeah.
A chainsword that can carve open...
It's
tanks.
Specifically after chasing around. You're going to run around with the captain of the chainsword chasing tanks down.
That's really cool. I like that. That's quite good. Haywire bolts is actually... I think this one's quite nice.
The bolts thing is in everyone as well, but they're just slightly different variations. There is a version of it in all of them.
Haywire bolts. When you give them all this relic, select 1 bolt weapon the model is equipped with. When the bearer shoots that weapon, you can choose for it to fire a haywire bolt. If you do so, you only make 1 attack. If it's against a vehicle, but when resolving that tank, if it is made against a vehicle unit, an unmodified wound roll of a 4 to 5 inflicts D3 mortal wounds, and an unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 3 mortal wounds on the target in addition to any other damage. And they've got the Fortis Pattern Data Spike, which is for a Tech Marine. When he uses Blessings of the Honor ability, roll 2 dice when determining how many wounds are regained and discard the lowest. That's good.
That's very good.
With the Tech Marines, with the Blessings, with the new Iron Father, actually you can do a bucket ton of healing every turn. So, and when you consider, this is the thing, is always be in mind of the other abilities that work alongside these. So we're talking about Tech Marines that can heal D3 where they roll 2 and select the highest. The stratagems allow it to do it multiple times. An Iron Father that can also do it flat 3 damage, flat 3 wounds every time. With an army where their wounds characteristics of their tanks count as double. So actually regaining a wound is regaining 2, if you think about it, because they count as double.
Yeah.
So actually it's really, really, really easy when you're talking about tanks with 12 to 13 wounds, for example. It's really easy to heal D3 wounds. Say you get the average that's 2, you gain 4 wounds back. It's so easy to jump a bracket when you're doing that. So easy.
So the Crusader, for example, Land Raiders in general, have to be down to 4 to be on the lowest bracket.
Because that puts them on 8, yeah.
Yeah. So you got so the middle bracket is 5 to 8.
Yeah.
So you've got to get them all the way down to a 4 to get to the middle.
Which is 2.
Yeah.
Because they count double.
Yeah.
So 4 to get to middle, 2 to get to bottom.
Yeah.
So it literally is on its last legs before it's nerfed.
Yeah. So it's hitting on 3s most of the time.
Yeah, again, you get it down to 2. So you're saying you have to get it down to 4 to get it to its middle bracket. Yeah. You get it down to 2, you get your Iron Father to give it 3 back, you're back up to full profile.
Even
with 1 heal, with 3 wounds, your Land Raider's back up to full profile.
And then you're off again.
Absolutely. It's really, really good. All right, so when you were joking, well, you kind of joking at the beginning about an Iron Hands car park, it's a thing. Like, it's a genuine thing now.
You're never getting a pred down to its bottom thing. It's one wound, and then, well, you can, but that last 1 wound is just never going to...
Yeah, and by that point, you're pretty much,
you got to kill it outright.
So we've got some stratagems here. They, as per everybody else, have 2 whole pages of stratagems. 2 whole pages of it. There you go. I did that in the light purpose. You can't take photos. We've got Mercy as weakness for a command point. Pick an Iron Hands unit to fight. Use the stratagem in shoot or fight phase. Select an Iron Hands unit from your army that's selected to shoot or fight. Select an enemy unit until the end of that phase. Every attack made by the Iron Hands unit from your army that can target the selected unit must do so, but when resolving such attack, an unmodified wound roll of 6 wounds the target unit twice instead of once. So exploding wound dice. 6 is explode. Methodical firepower. You select an Iron Hands unit. Basically, you do this when Devastator Doctrine is not active. You select an Iron Hands unit from your army until the start of your next movement phase. When resolving an attack made by a model in the unit, the Devastator Doctrine is treated as being active in addition to the currently active Doctrine.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you can go to Tactical Doctrine, for example, and go, oh, actually, I really want Devastator Doctrine still on that tank, for argument's sake, in my big tank car park. Spend a command point, and you can do it. It goes back to Dev Doctrine.
But it's also is on that
in
vehicle.
In addition to, yeah. So if that vehicle
you can have rapid fire weapon and heavy weapons.
Yeah. So if you're looking at a Redemptor Dreadnought who has a Macroplasma, for argument's sake, and the Stormbolters built in. So the Stormbolters are rapid fire, so they benefit from Tactical Doctrine, and the Macroplasma benefits from Devastator Doctrine for a single command point. That's quite nice. I quite like that one.
The Ultramarines have got one that's similar but not quite the same, and I don't think you can get both.
We have a single command point for what is personally, not from a cheesy tournament broken standpoint, from my narrative perspective, one of my favourite stratagems in the Iron Hands book. It's called March of the Ancients. Yeah. Single command point, use this stratagem before the battle. After nominating a model to be your warlord, select one Iron Hands Dreadnought model from your army. That model gains the character keyword and add one to the attacks and leadership characteristics of that model. Character Dreadnoughts. That's cool.
Very cool.
It is.
Now, as Winters points out in his video, just don't pick a Redemptor because it can then be shot.
Well, exactly.
You choose any normal one, less than 10 wounds.
Yeah. Character keyword, less than 10 wounds can't be targeted. And it gains an attack. That's quite nice. Mm-hmm. And I've played against a player who plays lots of Space Wolf character Dreadnoughts, and they're a pain in the ass. So yeah, okay. Another narrative one for a command point, Vengeance for Istvan 5. Basically, you get to reroll... No, sorry, I lied to you. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in that unit against a Word Bearers, Iron Warriors, Night Lords, or Alpha Legion unit, you can reroll the hit rolls. Yep. Istvan 5's a thing in the Heresy.
It's almost like they've got a grudge.
Yeah. Wrathful Machine Spirit, 2 CPs. This is interesting. 2 command points for this. I think it's maybe steep. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase or fight phase. When an Iron Hands vehicle model from your army is chosen to shoot with or fight with until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by that model, you can reroll the hit roll. 2 CPs, that's pricey, I think. Mm-hmm. Wrathful Machine Spirit, maybe it's not terrible. I just think that's a lot for that. And there's so many decent 1 command point ones, you probably won't see it. Souls of Iron. This is a Deny the Witch test. This is the exact same as what's the Wild Eaters one called now? I've been reading so many stratagems, I forgot.
What's this one called?
It's called. This one's called Souls of Iron. I can't remember the Wild Eaters have the same one. Scorn of Sorcery. That's the one. Use this stratagem in your opponent's psychic phase. When an enemy psycho manifests a psychic power within 24 inches of an Iron Hands unit from your army. Roll a d6 on a 4+, that psychic power is resisted. And that says after any Deny the Witch attempt. Yep. So that would tell me, this is interesting as well, that would tell me that you could attempt to deny the witch with a psyker, and if you fail, you can then use this stratagem, roll a d6 and a 4+, that psychic power is resisted. Because it literally says... manifest a psychic power within 24 inches of an Iron Hands unit from your army after any Deny the Witch attempt. So you can attempt to deny the witch, fail, and then use this. 2 stabs at stopping that psychic power.
That's cheeky.
That's how I interpret it. That's how I'm reading it. I might be wrong. Scion of the Forge. Select this stratagem before the battle. Use an Iron Hands model from your army with the word Sergeant, and you gain digital weapons, etc. We've seen that in every supplement so far. That's a normal one. Reject the Flesh, Embrace the Machine. Pick an Iron Hands infantry unit from your army that's chosen as the target of an attack. Until the end of the phase, when a model in the unit would lose a wound, roll a d6, adding 1 to the result if the model has the all flesh is weakness warlord trait. On a 5+, that wound is not lost. So if you've got all flesh is weakness, it's a 4+. 4+, feel no pain, which is cool. That's interesting when you're thinking about characters that are about to get hit up in combat by something nasty. So if you've got that warlord trait for a 5+, feel no pain, you can spend a CP to try and keep them alive in the fight phase with 4+, feel no pains. That's quite nice. We like that. That's good. Engine Purge is 2 CPs. Use this stratagem to start your movement phase if the Devastator Doctrine is active, which it probably will be because you're playing Iron Hands, until the start of your next battle round. When resolving an attack made with a heavy or grenade weapon by an Iron Hands model in your army, an unmodified rune roll of 6, add an additional 1 to the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon for the attack.
So for a heavy and a grenade.
Yeah.
So it's combining the assault one.
Yeah. It's interesting, but I don't know how desperate you're going to... It's 2 CPs, you can only use it once per battle.
You're probably not going to spend that. If you do get into combat, you're probably going to smush it because you're going to take the big bloke with the big axe.
Yeah.
And you're going to only do it when your tanks have been wrapped.
So Gorgon's Rage, fight phase, Iron Hands unit again. When it's chosen to fight until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in that unit, add 1 to the hit roll. In addition, Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack with a melee weapon by a model unit against an Emperor's Children unit, add 1 to the wound roll. So add 1 to hits for infantry units. That's quite nice. That's not too bad, actually. Well, especially when you're thinking about things like aggressors with their fists.
Yeah.
You get +1 to hit.
With their fists.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get Terminators hitting with power fists on 3s now. That's quite nice. I think that's really good, actually, for a single command point.
I'd say the Ultramarines got similar.
Oh, did they?
Yep. I'm hoping it's the Ultramarines and not the main
Ultramarines
Codex.
aren't in their main. That's the main Codex.
I know. I'm just checking. But there's like Fury the First.
All right, Cogitated Martyrdom.
It's gonna be
basically, this is like grot shields. Essentially, Cogitated Martyrdom. You pick an Iron Hands infantry unit within 3 inches of an Iron Hands character, and if the character suffers a wound, you roll a d6 on a 2+. The infantry unit within 3 inches suffers a mortal wound instead. It's like grot shields, but with Space Marines.
Your last one.
Yeah, Gorgon's Rage.
I can pay 2. That was 1 CP, wasn't it?
Yes.
So 2 CP. Does that mean my Terminators can hit on 2s?
If there's another stratagem in the main book, yes.
Yeah, because it is the main book. Fury the First is in the main book.
For a single CP +1 to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've got your Terminators who are now got, so let's talk about Terminators for a brief moment with Power Fists. 5 Terminators with Power Fists have on the charge 15 attacks because of Angels of Death.
Yeah.
Okay. 15 attacks. Fury the First and Gorgon's Rage. 15 attacks with a Power Fist hitting on 2s. Tasty. Machine Empathy is another stratagem. After an Iron Hands tech model from your army has used their Blessings on the Iron ability, the model can use that ability again and can repair a model that has already been repaired that turn. That's big. Because normally you can't do it twice in the same unit. So that and the Iron Father has the Tech Marine keyword. So actually he does flat 3 repair. He can do that twice to the same tank. Yep. So he has the ability to give 6 wounds back to a tank every turn. That's horrible. Paragon of Iron, single command point, uses stratagem before the battle. After nominating an Iron Hands character as a name character, you can generate an additional warlord trait. Again, this is in all of the supplements at the moment. Optical Repulsion Doctrines. Iron Hands unit from your army fires Overwatch. This is good, by the way. This is really good.
Yeah.
Use this stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when an Iron Hands unit from your army fires Overwatch until the end of that phase. When resolving an Overwatch attack made by a model in that unit, a hit roll of a 5 or 6 scores a hit. So that is basically giving you the Iron Hands chapter tactic final part if you're a successor chapter. I don't know why you'd be a successor chapter when the Iron Hands chapter tactics are so good anyway, and you want that relic, the Ironstone. If you have the Flesh is Weak chapter tactic, if you have that chapter tactic, then when resolving Overwatch instead, 4+.
Yeah.
4+.
Yeah. Now this I want to link to a comment in the stream. Okay. So in the stream they've said the easy way to get around the car park, do you think, will be to charge them? No, that won't be the way.
You want to charge 4 up hitting Lascan Predators or Repulsors or whatever that are rerolling ones. You crack on, mate. You go for it. Mnemonic Auto Savant for 2 command points. The Optical Propulsion Doctrine as well. That's the other thing. It's an Overwatch Doctrine that makes you hit on 4s. It's 1 CP.
That's
1.
So they might actually want a CP farming.
If you're an Iron Hands player, most of the really good ones are 1 CP. The Gorgon's Rage is 1 CP. Machine Empathy, 1 CP. They're just the best one in the world. March of the Ancients, where you get a Dread character, 1 CP. They're all really cool. So all you're going to do is keep a couple of command points in your back pocket if someone's a melee-based army and go on and charge me.
Yeah,
I don't mind. That's fine. We see things like even Boltstorm Aggressors in Overwatch with hitting on 6s are ridiculous. They could now be hitting on 4s. Wow. Mnemonic Auto Savant. Basically, this one I like, actually. This one's really cool. I do like this one. It's 2 command points and it's situational, but I really like it. Use this stratagem at the end of the turn. After achieving a tactical objective, if an Iron Hands Warlord from your army is on the battlefield, do not discard that tactical objective at the start of the next turn. It is once again active.
This is nuts.
It's good.
It's very good.
It's really, really good. You can only use this stratagem if the mission you're playing uses tactical objectives. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. It is a once per battle thing, but if it's a high...
last turn.
So, not even last turn. Think of things like Kingslayer.
Yeah.
You know you've killed your enemy warlord. You pull Kingslayer. At the end of the turn, it doesn't say anything. It just says tactical objective. That's all it says. It doesn't have to be a specific type of tactical objective. Kingslayer, D3 victory points. Spend 2 command points. Keep that objective. End of next turn. I'm guaranteed another D3 victory points.
Yeah.
What? I think that's a really good one.
It's nuts.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. And then you've got Bequeathed by the Iron Council, basically that allows you to take a Successor Chapter character and take a relic of the Forge instead.
Okay.
We're nearly at the end of the book now. This is good. But yeah, so far you can see how many little nifty combos there are and how actually devastating I think Iron Hands can be.
So I plucked a few comments out of the chat. That's what I was head down typing. It isn't me being like texting my wife. It's
or mine, or my wife,
or your wife. Yes, we won't be long. No, it was. I was making notes. So, just to clarify, dread characters, warlord traits and relics. Is there a character?
I think. It's going to be expensive. If you spend a command point for March of the Ancients, you have a character. If you then spend a command point for Paragon of Iron, use a stratagem before the battle after nominating an Iron Hands character model that is not a named character to be a warlord. You can generate an additional warlord trait for them. Oh, that's the same model. Maybe not. Additional relics. There's the strats in the main Marine book, right? That allow you to take an additional warlord trait and allow you to take an additional relic.
Yes.
You've got it in front of you. They're a single command point. I'm pretty sure they only state it has to take a chapter character. I believe.
Just have a quick nosy.
The Frolicking Moose says, let me tell you about Brayarth Ashmantle. I really misread that to start with. I did. I'm glad it says Ashmantle. Brom's going to research that. We're going to move on to the Technomancy discipline. If you could research that quietly.
Okay.
Found it, have you?
No. Well, I found something.
I love you. What have you found? Read it out.
It says, relics of the chapter. Use this stratagem before the battle. Your army can have one additional chapter relic.
Yep.
All of your relics, all of the relics your army includes must be different and be given to different models. So, but that's just give it to any old.
Yeah, but you
model.
can take it as character out.
Yeah.
Because the relics,
it says model.
The relic stuff. So. Yeah, but the relic stuff says it has to be given to characters.
Yeah. Okay. So
the relics pages.
So you.
But yeah, so there's another one for the additional warlord trait. So
I haven't
yeah,
found
you
that
can.
one yet.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in the main Marine book. I might be wrong, but yeah, absolutely. Ashmantle is what I read it as, by the way. Blessings of the Machine God is the first psychic power. It's a warp charge value of 5. 12 inches Iron Hands vehicle model within 12 inches of Psyker. You can only select a Titanic model if the result of the psychic test is 8 or higher, which is cool. Until the start of your next psychic phase, when resolve an attack made by that model, add 1 to the hit roll. That's cool. Mm-hmm. So again, there's another ways of buffing up vehicles to hit and stuff, because it is for vehicles specifically. So you're spending warp charge value of 5 is quite low as well to make a vehicle hit on 2s or 1 better anyway. I think it's really good. Again, like I said, think about how you're stacking all this with Devastator Doctrine and their current specific special rule, which allows them to move and fire heavy weapons out penalty. Really, really good. Objuration Mechanicum, warp charge value of 7. A selected enemy of 8 inches of Psyker, 18 inches of Psyker, sorry. Until the start of your next psychic phase, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in that unit on an unmodified hit roll of a 1, it suffers a mortal wound. Essentially, you almost turn their weapons into gets hot. Kind of. They don't die, but they suffer a mortal wound.
But they could die if they happen to be rapid fire stuff and they're only a single wound.
Yeah. So they're firing bolt guns and they're normal Space Marines and they're rolling 1s because of this. They're going to die on mortal wounds.
Yeah, like Tau Fire Warriors. That would be quite funny.
Yeah, it would actually. Yeah, especially with the amount of rapid amount of weight of fire they put out.
So anything with a lot of fire, shooter boys. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
So then.
Oh, like looters and stuff. Oh no. Oh, that's yeah. Actually, that's quite good. I like that one now. I wasn't bothered by it before. Yep. Fury of Medusa has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy model within 18 inches of and visible to the Psyker. Draw the shortest possible imaginary straight line 1 millimeter wide between the Psyker's base and that model's base. Roll a d6 for the selected model's unit, and every other unit the line passes across, adding 2 to the result if the unit being rolled for is a vehicle. On a 4 to a 5, the unit being rolled for suffers a mortal wound, and on a 6+, it suffers d3 mortal wounds. That's all right.
What? So on a 4 to 5. It suffers
a mortal wound, yeah.
Unless it's a vehicle.
Yeah. And you're adding 2 to it if it's a vehicle. So on a 4+, it's suffering D3 mortal wounds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? On a 2+, it's suffering a mortal wound. That's quite cool. Psi Steel Armor. I always said Plus Steel Armor then. Psi Steel Armor. There's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Iron Hands unit within 12 inches of Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, when resolve an attack made against that unit, add 1 to the saving throw. Invulnerable saves are not affected. It's a real shame about that last one, because I think if it would have allowed you to affect invulnerable saves, that would have been really cool on Terminators, giving them a 4-up invuln in combat and stuff. I think that's really, really cool. It's a shame it doesn't affect invulnerable saves, genuinely. But, I mean, it's it's okay. It's warp charge value of 6. It's all right. Reforge has a warp charge value of 5. Select an Iron Hands model within 3 inches invisible to the Psyker. That model regains up to D3 lost wounds.
I saw that last one really good for. I know I've skipped backwards, but the on aggressors and stuff. So most of the Primaris stuff is only a 3.
Yeah,
save.
I'll give you that one.
So to give them, make it 2s starts to mean that actually you're always going to get a 6-up save.
There's other things that you can actually stack that with as well if you think about it. That you put them in cover and give them that. You got a 1-up save then, which is important depending on what's firing at you and stuff. So it's not bad, but it's just I would have liked it to include invulnerable saves. For example, Eldar have a psychic power called Protect, which is a warp charge value of 7, and Protect affects armor saves and invulnerable saves. It's only 1 warp charge more. It's 18 inches instead of 12 inches. I think this one should have allowed him to affect invulnerable saves personally. I don't think there was any need to negate it. But then maybe
it doesn't need to be as dirty as Eldar trickery.
Yeah, absolutely. But then saying that as well, I do wonder. Right, it says about increasing saving throws. I do wonder if one of the reasons why they've done it is because you've got this new Iron Father that gives everyone a 5-up invulnerable save. You're not going to be given 4-up in Land Raiders and Predators, perhaps. I don't know.
That would have been. Maybe they've thought ahead.
Maybe they've
how
thought
we
about
might
this.
abuse it.
Then we have Machine Flens, a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy vehicle unit that is within 18 inches invisible to the Psyker. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. You can then select another enemy unit that was within 6 inches of the first enemy unit when the psychic power was manifested. Roll a D6 for each mortal wound that vehicle suffered, and on a 3+, that next vehicle suffers a mortal wound. That's quite cool. It's mortal wound bomb. That's Iron Hands.
Yeah.
They are good.
So the last question that came out of the chat that I've seen, I haven't seen anything really recently, was do you think they'll even have infantry? Will they now suffer from the night issue?
So I do think they'll have infantry because I think they need CP.
Yeah.
I think they need CP.
I think they need some CP.
And actually, although Knights have that issue, what Iron Hands have access to, which is really interesting, is things like scouts.
Mm-hmm.
And what are scout sniper rifles? Heavy.
Can now run around.
Your scout snipers can infiltrate to push your enemy back. Not only can they push your enemy back by infiltrating because you restrict where your enemy can go, they can move around to control the battlefield and control objectives with snipers, but they don't suffer the penalty for moving and firing. That's really good.
Definitely.
So I think you will see infantry in an Iron Hands list. It's just my personal opinion is you might see bucket tons of sniper scouts because they benefit from Devastator Doctrine and they can move around and still do ball control and they can infiltrate in the middle. I think that's quite interesting. There's other stuff in there as well.
Maybe mix in a heavy bolter or
there's other stuff in there as well. What can Primaris Intercessors take? Stalker bolt rifles. They're heavy snipers that can target characters.
Yep.
I know the targeting characters is 3 CPs,
but
you're doing that at additional -1, and again, you can move around when you stalker bolt rifles and still fire. So actually,
-2.
I think you will. I absolutely think you will see infantry. I think you won't see infantry be the first choice on the roster. I think when people are building their Iron Hands lists, the roster will probably start with Predators.
You kind of have to build it around your heavy, don't you? You have to build it around heavy weapons. Because that's where you're going to get the most benefit. I'm
genuinely super interested to see how many Land Raiders you can squeeze into a Iron Hands list. Like genuinely interested as well, because you could fill them with interesting choices like even if it's Centurions and stuff, Grav Centurions with heavy Grav weapons. I don't know. I don't know how it would look.
I think your heavy tank weapons is where you are going to. Predators, you can get so many of them in.
Yeah.
Well, you can't actually in match play the rule of 3, but these still. You can get loads of them.
We've already seen that. We've already seen, for example, that Land Raider Crusaders are pretty tasty with their rapid fire Hurricane bolters. I don't know. I'm not sure, but
run around with your Stalker pattern bolt rifles. Your Stalker bolt rifles at -3, 2 damage.
And an interesting point that I've completely missed has been brought up in the chat as well because I haven't been thinking about them for ages.
No, Winters mentioned
Storm
that as
Ravens. Mm-hmm. Storm Ravens. Wow. Yeah, they are going to be insane.
Hitting on 2s,
double damage.
If it's on the ground.
So not double damage, sorry, double remaining wounds, etc. Storm Ravens are going to be insanely powerful. Actually, I didn't even think about flyers. I'm looking at like the typical ground castles that, with respect, we see you play with things like Gulliman and stuff in the past, like events and stuff. I was thinking about that. I hadn't even thought about Storm Ravens. They're going to be insanely good as well.
In fact, you can't. Kind of. That's where I'd go.
Yeah, I think repulsors will be good. I mean, I don't necessarily think that repulsors are as good as the 3 repulsors surrounding Gulliman good necessarily, no. But then that isn't as good as it used to be because he's lost his reroll wound ability.
Yeah.
So They can emulate. Do you know what? Actually, this is interesting. Okay, so how many points is a lieutenant? 70, 80 points ish.
It's not a lot. To be fair, I went through this book trying to find something that was 130 points, 110 points even, 130 for the next one. 110 there isn't. There's a librarian with jump pack is 108. So a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Standard one
without war gear.
Without war gear is
that one.
I know. Yeah. Primaris Lieutenant 65.
So the Primaris Lieutenant 65 points. Your Master of Forge is 110. So for 175 points plus
some weaponry,
a little bits of war gear, maybe like, and then, I mean, a bolt gun and a chainsaw is nothing in cost anyway.
Yeah.
So you could do it for 65 points. So for 175 points, you can stand your new Master of the Forge. In between your 3 repulsors, okay, you get reroll all hit rolls like Gulliman gives you. You get reroll wound rolls of 1 like Gulliman gives you, and you get a 5-up invulnerable save on all of those tanks that Gulliman doesn't give you. And you can heal 3 wounds a turn on those tanks that Gulliman doesn't give you. And with a single CP stratagem, you can do that again.
Oh yeah.
So actually, we've now got a 175 point buff unit that is better than a 400 point Primarch. 350 point Primarch now, whatever his cost is now.
Yeah, he's come down, but yeah, still.
That's really good. And then you give your lieutenant the Iron Stone. Okay, so not only you got a 5-up invulnerable save, not only are you rerolling all hits, not only I'm doing this, not only are you rerolling wound rolls of 1, you're then reducing all incoming damage by 1 as well.
That's a bit mean.
That's stupid. That's stupid good.
And you can move.
Yeah,
because actually you don't have to stay still.
That's
very mobile.
What are repulsors armed with?
Everything. In the sun, they are like they've got so many weapons. Okay, so going from this, so you start. Right, I'm not even going into the fact of what you can swap it for, but what it is equipped with: heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, Icarus iron hail heavy stubbers, iron hail.
So what I care about in the list of weapons you've got, how many are heavy, how many are rapid fire?
1 is rapid fire, which is the storm bolter.
Oh, really? Is that it?
But cracked grenade launchers are assault, as is frag grenade launchers. So your grenade launchers will be assault; they gain benefit.
Yeah, okay.
Everything else is heavy.
Okay, so they all work with Devastator Doctrine.
It's a very heavy tank with -2 to its charge. So yeah, you're going to be hitting on 4s, and in Overwatch, and you've still got to add 2 to your charge distance.
So what we're talking about is 170 odd point unit. That is dishing out a 5-up invuln, reducing wounds by 1, reroll all hits, reroll wound rolls of 1. It is probably better than a 350 point Primarch in terms of buffing units around them.
To be fair, the repulsor doesn't suffer from moving and firing.
I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't.
And some of the land raids and stuff don't either. But your Preds and bits and pieces, those are really going to gain.
Yeah.
As are your troops.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Right. Yes, Bristol Chastimes, the chat is working. It's just you chatting to yourself. Right, so that's Iron Hands. I think they're going to be really, really good. Like, genuinely think they're going to be really, really strong. I don't think there's any massively fancy tricks with them. I just think they're strong. And I think that's interesting because people can be a bit more... I think they could be a bit more blasé with the way they play their Marines when they're playing Iron Hands because they're so resilient now, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Which is really cool. There's lots of interesting... like combinations you can put together that just basically make stuff really resilient, and it also makes your heavy weapon output really strong, which is cool.
It's almost like the flesh is weak. It is.
That was a tedious link, mate.
No, I know. They've built that codex to be very narrative.
That's the thing as well, right? It's immensely narrative, and like the others as well. These books are quite thick. There's a lot to them, and that was 8 pages of rules. The rest is narrative. That's amazing. Narrative. There's so much narrative. You've already picked them up, looked at them, and gone, I need to take these away and read them at some point.
Yeah.
So that's how much narrative's in them.
And I haven't seen the narrative section of the Iron Hands one, but I'm guessing if it's anything like the Raven Guard one, there is an Isfan 5 section.
Probably. Now, considering when Raven Guard existed before New Codex, I hated them.
Why was that?
Because I don't like -1 to hit stuff. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I've always whinged about it. I'll continue to whinge about it. I don't like -1 to hit stuff on army-wide stuff. I mean, I know Marines don't get army-wide because it's infantry and dreadnoughts only, but I don't like army-wide negative to hit buffs. I think they're silly.
No.
With the new Codex.
The new Space Marines Codex dropped.
and changed that.
They did.
So if you don't know already where we've been, Raven Guard rules have changed. So now, if you're more than 12 inches away, you count as being in cover. And if you are in cover and more than 12 inches away, you additionally get a -1 to hit. So you have to be in cover to get that -1. Narrative as hell. Because you're then hiding in the shadows. Why? You have a ruin here and a ruin here and an open ground and a model stood in the middle. He had a -1 to hit. I have no idea. But you get it in cover. Narratively makes sense.
And you can't be a vehicle.
Yeah, you can't be a vehicle, which also makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. You can get away with a Predator hiding in the shadows.
You used to be able to hide your tank at the back of the field and get -1 to hit.
Nope.
You can't now.
You couldn't then either, because chapter tactics in the old Codex didn't affect vehicles.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Brilliant.
You kind of couldn't.
So, Raven Guard, I wasn't that bothered. I'll be honest with you. Two things. First of all, I kind of dig the emo heads. I kind of like them. I don't know. I think it's because they're so different. I kind of like them. And I think the other reason why I kind of like them is because there's so much hate around them right now that makes me go, oh, I like it.
You've got these genetically enhanced replicas, and I know there's flavour in them, like the White Scars Khan look and bits and pieces, but it just no. Just no.
Micah Kara in the chat says unsubscribed. I get it, but I do kind of like it. I think it's an interesting aesthetic because it's very different. Which is again, it's variety, and I'm all for variety. I kind of like them because they're so different. I'm so used to seeing. I don't know. I like them. They're cool. The original Quipster says I like them. Of course he does. He's a hipster. Anyway. We've got Kayvan Shrike. I'm not sure exactly how you say that. I think it's Kayvan Shrike because it's AA. He is actually decent as a unit. He's more points. He's 130 points, and I don't think he's as good as the Iron Father, personally.
So based on that, once you've gone through him, when you decide, is he right, or is it? And this is low.
I think he's low. No, I think the Iron Father's low.
I think
absolutely.
he's low.
So Kayvan Shrike, he is a normal sort of chapter master kind of statistic, I guess. He's 14-inch move because he's got a jump pack. Ballistic skill, weapon skill 2+, strength and toughness 4, wounds 6, attack 6. 6 is good for attacks. Leadership 9, save 3+. He's okay. His pistol's called Blackout. Of course it is. Yep. Pistol 2, 18-inch range, strength 4, AP-2, 2 damage. You can target characters, and if you roll a 6+ to wound, it inflicts a mortal wound in addition to damage. It's basically a sniper pistol that has 2 damage and is AP-2. That's really cool. Raven's Talons, they're basically lightning claws, AP-3, 2 damage. When resolving attacks, you can reroll wound rolls. That's really cool. And considering he's a chapter master, you can already reroll hit rolls, so you get to reroll hits and wounds with him. But it is only strength 4. Frag and crack grenades is standard. Then he's got his abilities. Obviously, Angel of Death. Obviously, Chapter Master. Diving Charge. After he finishes a charge, select an enemy within 1 inch. On a 4+, he suffers a mortal wound. He has a 4+ Fun Save. He's got Grav Shoot, and he's got Winged Deliverance. You can reroll charge rolls made for Raven Guard Jump Pack and Raven Guard Phobos units if they're within 6 inches of this model when the roll is made.
So this is
and
that
I
simplicity
think
thing again.
Phobos stuff is super cool. I really love Phobos stuff.
I think it's definitely going to be. It's going to have a place.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. I think Phobos stuff is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And with this, you can reroll the wound roll, reroll the charge rolls with Phobos units. Yeah. I like that. I'm a fan of that.
I like that they've gone with the new way that they're kind of wording things as well. It's not failed. It's none of that malarkey.
Yeah,
it's nice,
simplified.
Simple. Yeah.
So both of these guys that allow you to reroll hit rolls, it's just reroll hit rolls.
Yeah.
So if you have a hit roll that's a 3, that would naturally be a hit, but then you've got a -1, blah 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 blah, you can still reroll it. That's fine, and that's better.
100%.
So much like every other supplement so far, you've got a bunch of stuff about being a successor chapter. I'm not going to go into the details, but essentially you can be a successor chapter and gain all of this stuff apart from relics. But they also gain surgical strikes. I love surgical strikes.
Mm-hmm.
It's immensely narrative again. Whilst the tactical doctrine is active, when resolving an attack made by a model with the ability against a character, you can add 1 to the hit and wound rolls. I think that's awesomely cool.
I do,
but there's a but there.
I'm a little surprised that it wasn't the assault doctrine.
Why assault?
Not just because it would have been something different. So Marines, Ultramarines, already tactical doctrine. It is affecting them. So bring out the Iron Hands, Devastator doctrine. Raven Guard want to be up and close and personal. They're not really fighty. They shoot you in the face, but they're assassins. They're killers in the night. Like I would have just potentially thought it was the next final stage. So you have to go through the battle, and then it will be last final call.
Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Because we've already, I mean, let's be fair, White Scars is melee. And to be fair, I whinged about White Scars being melee because it takes you 3 turns to get there.
Yep.
I kind of prefer it being tactical because it doesn't take you so long to use their ability.
I think it's better for them.
Yeah. So turn 1, you're lining yourself up for your assassination. Yep. And who says assassinations have to be up close and personal?
No.
They strike from the shadows. Actually, Raven Guard arguably want to be further away because of the way their shadows rules works, being more than 12 inches away.
Yes.
This does take a unit that's already very good.
Yep.
I think they're called Eliminators, the snipers.
Yes.
Takes them that are already good and makes them even better with those sniper rifles.
100%.
They are very, very good with Surgical Strike active. Anyway, I really like that, and you are right, it is tactical doctrine, and I would have liked it to. I mean, maybe they could have broken the mold here a little bit and said when tactical and assault doctrine are active. Ooh. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that would be too strong. Maybe. Because let's face it, when you're talking about the Iron Hands doctrine, when you're talking about the Ultramarines doctrine, you can affect the whole army. Okay. Yeah. When you're talking about the Surgical Strikes ability, you can only affect certain units that can target those characters at those times, depending on whether they're the nearest or they've got an ability that allows them to do that. Yep. And you're only getting that benefit against a minimalistic number of units the enemy have, unless they happen to have turned up with 2,000 points of characters, which is highly unlikely.
And a screen of scouts.
Yeah.
To shoot
so actually what we're looking at is a specific ability that affects specific units, targeting specific units. So because it's quite narrowed down, I don't think it would have been too broken to apply it to tactical and assault doctrine, maybe.
Yeah, true.
But then I don't know how they've balanced these, so maybe I'm talking out my backside.
And it means you can't do it from turn 1. So the whole point would be that you couldn't do it from turn 1. You can't just sit there and snipe people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to go after them. You have to move. You have to at least take some punishment.
One thing that does make me laugh lots is this makes Sorcerer Dave get very angry. He doesn't like snipers. Anyway.
You shouldn't play against Raven Guard
no,
now.
Absolutely. So we'll go into the Warlord traits quickly. I think that ability is good. I think what I like about it is it's immensely narrative and isn't turbo broken because it won't. There's almost no way you can allow this to affect a whole army. Yeah. Because you would then not be building an optimized list or building a narrative or balanced list. You're going to be building something that's going to get like curb stomped quickly.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be. You're not going to be out in the field taking.
I mean, if you want to take nothing but scout snipers and eliminators, and that's about it, you're welcome to.
Technically, you could.
You could, yeah. And then once you've killed the 3 enemy characters and they're rolling on you with land raiders and custodians and all sorts of stuff, you're in the shit. Then
you Overwatch on 6s because you're not Iron Hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Warlord traits. There's some cool stuff in here. So the first one is the one that Kayvan Striker's got. It's called Shadowmaster. It makes sense. It's perfect. This one is a lot better, I think, than the Iron Hands one that was combined with him. Enemy units cannot fire Overwatch at the Warlord. Cool. So he can charge in and doesn't suffer Overwatch.
Yeah.
But the thing is, looking at Kayvan Striker is Strength 4, Lightning Claws that reroll wounds, reroll hits. That's why I would have liked Surgical Strike on him as well in the Assault Doctrine. Having said that, one thing we can say, although it doesn't affect the Assault Doctrine, when Assault Doctrine is active, if you charge in with him, he doesn't get an additional AP -1 because Assault Doctrine is not active, but as long as Tactical Doctrine is active, he'll still get the +1 to attack and +1 to wound. So although he's in melee, he'll still get it because Tactical Doctrine is active.
Yeah.
So you can negate it, it's just you don't get the additional -1 AP. Maybe I think to most people, actually, when you're talking about melee, the +1 to hit and +1 to wound is significantly more important than the -1 AP. So I think you'll see Raven Guard players going turn 1 Devastator Doctrine, turn 2 Tactical Doctrine, leave it there.
Yes.
I'd be very surprised if you see him switch to Assault Doctrine, personally. That's what I think. I don't think you'll see that happen. Master of Ambush. Now, this is really cool. The reason why this is really cool is because this isn't the only thing that allows them to do this. So listen out for these abilities that you can use on different units at different times. It's interesting. At the start of the first battle round, but before the first turn begins, if this Warlord is on the battlefield, you can select one other friendly Raven Guard infantry unit on the battlefield. Remove that unit and this Warlord from the battlefield and set them up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from the enemy deployment zone and is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. If both players have abilities, roll off, blah. So you can pick up your Warlord and one other infantry unit and move them. Importantly, they don't have to be in range of each other. It just says pick an infantry unit and pick your Warlord up, and you can move them.
Most of those tactics used to be they had to be within a certain range of someone, and then you could move them.
It also says at the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins, so you already know who's going first at that point. Mm-hmm. So if you're hiding somewhere and being particularly sneaky, and then you find out you're going first, and it's before the first turn begins, but at the start of the first battle round, so you've already rolled for seizing as well, you can pop them out. That's quite nice. Swift and Deadly. Friendly Raven Guard units within 6 inches of the Warlord can be chosen to charge even if they advance this turn. I do that on my Demon Prince of Khorne. It's amazingly, amazingly good. So units that can move quickly can also charge if they're within 6 inches of your Warlord. I like that. That's quite nice. That's quite cool. Master of Vigilance. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this Warlord, an unmodified hit roll of 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to other damage. That's cool. We've got that on with Flames of Spite. I've used it before. It's actually quite nice. 6 is doing mortal wounds. Feigned Flight. I like this one a lot. When the Warlord falls back, they can move across models and terrain as if the models and terrain were not there. In addition, this Warlord can then shoot and charge in a turn in which they fell back. Yeah, I like that.
I like the shoot and charge part.
I like the fact that they can fall back over models. That's really cool. I instantly envisage someone rolling over the top. But yeah. Then we've got the Echo of Ravenspire. Once per battle at the end of your movement phase. I know.
Because I have a jump pack with someone like...
Well, you
back over the
for
top of his
Feigned Flight, you don't have to have a jump pack.
I know, but
so you could put that on a Captain in Gravis armor or Garvis armor, whatever you want to call it, Gravis armor. Put it on a Captain in Gravis armor. How's he going to Feigned Fly? You're surrounded by 30 Orc boys, right? And you can roll 6 inches out. Whee! Or however far you can roll out. That's cool. I like that. Anyway, Echo of the Ravenspire. Once per battle at the end of your movement phase, this Warlord can vanish into the gloom if they are more than 6 inches away from enemy models. When it does, remove it from the battlefield and then set this Warlord up again at the end of your next movement phase anywhere that is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. If the battle ends, then this Warlord is not on the battlefield. It is destroyed. So that's cool. If you're at least 6 inches or more away from enemy models, you can redeploy him, basically. Take him off the board. He won't get to shoot and charge. Take him off the board. End of your next movement phase, redeploy him, re-deep strike him. That's cool. Again, like Master, we've got 2 different Warlord traits there that allow quick redeploys, which is really nice. So I like those 2 a lot. And I also like that you don't... So I think they've got 4 really strong Warlord traits. So can't fire Overwatch, redeploy a unit plus the Warlord, can advance and charge, and can redeploy a Warlord if no one's within 6 inches. I think there's 4 really interesting ones there, and you'll see a variety of them.
I think so.
And I really love it when I read things like Warlord traits, and I don't see one and go, that'll be the one they pick.
No, this is... Well, we know how strong not being able to fire Overwatch is.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know how strong that is, and yet there's still 3 more.
Yeah,
that
really,
actually
really cool.
make you think, which is actually quite useful. I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
I like that a lot.
Okay, we have Relics of the Ravenspire. So, of course, we've got Raven Guard Relics because we've got Relics. The Ebon Claws, model equipped with 2 Lightning Claws only. It replaces the Lightning Claws. Its strength uses AP minus 3 D3 damage. When the bearer fights, 1 additional attack. In addition, when resolving attack made with a weapon, you can reroll the wound rolls. I think they're just Lightning Claws, but D3 damage instead of 1. They're nice. That's cool. The Armour of Shadows, again quite narrative. When resolving an attack made with a weapon that has an armour penetration characteristic of -1 against a model from your army with this relic, that weapon is treated as having an armour penetration characteristic of 0. In addition, when resolving an attack against a model from your army with this relic, an unmodified hit roll of a 1, 2, or 3 always fails. That's cool. And it also stipulates when resolving an attack. So it's not a melee attack or shooting attack. It's an attack. 1, 2, or 3 always fails. So suddenly all your characters out there that are coming in, hitting on 2s, don't matter. 4 pluses only. And we know how bad that can be for those of us that run Power Fists.
Yeah.
How often do Power Fists fail us because they hit on 4s? That's actually, I think that's a really good relic. I really like that relic. The Raven Skull of Corvard. Once per turn, when resolving an attack made by a model from your army with this relic, you can reroll 1 hit roll, wound roll, or damage roll. In addition, if the model from your army with this relic is destroyed as a result of an attack made by an enemy unit, then that unit until the end of the battle, when resolving an attack made by a Raven Guard unit against that enemy unit, add 1 to the hit roll. So basically, if this model with this relic is killed by an enemy unit, everything else in your army gets to add 1 to the hit rolls against that unit. That's cool. It's all right. It's situational, though. Raven's Fury is a jump pack. Model from your army with this relic can be chosen to charge with even if they advance this turn. We've already got a Warlord trait that allows people around us to do this, including the Warlord, obviously.
So you can redeploy 3 units to be somewhere within 9 inches, and then you can give a character that who can then catch up.
Yeah. And then if they advance this turn, when a charge roll is made for this model, you can re-roll the dice. In addition, after the model finishes a charge move, you can select 1 enemy unit within 1 inches, and on a 4+, suffers a mortal wound. So yes, absolutely. So you can advance and charge the character. You can redeploy him and re-roll the charge roll with this jump pack as well. So Raven's Fury is a really good jump pack. And once you've made that charge, you get a 4+ opportunity to do a single mortal wound as well. You've got the Tenebris. Model equipped with a mastercrafted Stalker bolt rifle, mastercrafted Oculus bolt carbine, or mastercrafted Instigator bolt carbine. The relic replaces a mastercrafted blah and has the following profile: 36-inch range, assault 3, strength 4, AP -2, 2 damage. This weapon can target a character, even if it is not the closest enemy unit. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, you can add 1 to the hit roll. In addition, when resolving an attack made with this weapon, the target does not receive the benefit of its cover. With Tactical Doctrine active, you get +1 to the hit, maybe +2. I don't know, because the Raven Guard one gives you +1 to hit and +1 to wound against characters. So I'm pretty sure you'll get +2 to hit with this particular relic because it gives you +1 against characters, and +1 to wound, and -2 AP, and 2 damage, and no caving throws, no cover save. That's quite cool. I really like this. And now my favourite Raven Guard relic, my favourite relic of all time.
Okay,
it's called the Oppressor's End. It's a combat knife. It's a combat knife that has strength +1, AP -2, and 1 damage. When the bearer fights, it makes 1 additional attack with this weapon. In addition, when resolving the attack made with this weapon against a character, the weapon has a damage characteristic of 3.
What?
So against a character, so you've got +1 strength. So on a normal Primaris character, for example, you're talking strength 5.
Yeah.
Okay. With Tactical Doctrine active, +1 to hit against the character, +1 to wound against the character at strength 5, AP -2, and a flat 3 damage with a combat knife. That's cool. That's really cool.
That's very, very cool.
I know. I love that one.
That's well surprising.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think you'll probably see. I mean, the Ex-Tembris, the Raven's Fury, and the Armor of Shadows are probably all better relics. But the combat knife's just so cool. You can cut around with your character, stabbing people. I like that.
Okay,
I like that. We also have special issue War Gear, like we said in the Iron Hands book. The first 4 are the same. And then we have the Shadow Master Cloak. A model with this relic has a 3+ invulnerable save while they are wholly within a terrain feature. That's quite nice. We have the Silencer's Pistol. It replaces a bolt pistol or heavy bolt pistol. It's a 12-inch range, pistol 2, strength 5, AP -2, 2 damage. You can target a character even if it's not the closest. And you can add 1 to the hit roll. You notice a theme here. There's lots of stuff that allows you to target characters and add 1 to hit rolls that have -2 AP and 2 damage as well, which is really cool. So it's a 12-inch pistol 2 that can target. I love it. We have the Corvidari bolts, however you say that. Same as you've seen before. When that model is chosen to shoot, you can choose for the weapon to fire a Corvidari bolt. If you do, when choosing targets for that model, and when choosing ranged weapons, the model's range characteristic is increased by 6. Oh, actually, that's quite cool. Oh, hello. Actually, that's really cool. Right, I've just reread this for the first time since last night. When you give the model this relic, select 1 bolt weapon that model is equipped with. When that model is chosen to shoot with, you can choose for that weapon to fire a Corvidari bolt. If you do, when choosing targets for that model and choosing ranged weapons, the model's ranged weapons are increased by 6 inches, and it can target units that are not visible to the bearer, but only 1 attack can be... actually, it's not so good because the last bit. Okay, so it was crap.
Yeah, but it's the same. Like, they all have a bolt of some form. So... in this one, they had like a Hellfire bolt. And...
it's okay. It's not bad, but I can't think of a single character that's going to carry a single special... There's probably something out there.
Yeah.
If you're making a sergeant able to carry a special organ for a command point that has a good weapon,
it's a waste.
Maybe it's okay. I don't know.
But it has to be a bolt, doesn't it? It has to be a bolt weapon.
It is a bolt weapon, yeah. So,
out of sight sniper rifle.
I suppose an eliminator sergeant with his sniper rifle, you're gaining 6 inches on that weapon's profile. You're firing a single shot anyway. That's not too bad, maybe. And you don't need line of sight for the. You can use the non-line of sight rule for another type of profile. That's okay, I guess.
Yes, because they've got their different.
Yeah. Shard of Istvan is the last one. Add 1 to the attacks characteristics of a model with this relic. In addition, when the morale test is taken for a chapter unit within 6 inches, do not roll the dice. It's automatically passed. Meh. Again, I think the actual relics of the Raven Spire are better. There's some okay stuff. The Shadow Master Cloak for a 3+ invuln and cover is quite nice. Go on.
No, that's fine.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say something.
It's the Mortis one. It can get D3 wounds on it, and you'd be 42-inch range, so that wouldn't be terrible. Or the Execution one can add 2 to hit rolls.
Yeah, it's not bad, I suppose.
Not terrible, and doesn't receive benefit of cover. So.
We now hit the stratagems. This is taking a while, this one.
Yeah. There's a lot in this.
We now hit the stratagems. Use the stratagem at the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins. Select one Raven Guard infantry unit from your army that is on the battlefield. The unit can move as if your movement phase must end more than 9 inches away. More redeploying stuff before the game begins.
It's just nuts.
The Raven's Blade. Start your charge phase. Select an enemy unit on the battlefield until the end of that phase. When a charge roll is made for a Raven Guard unit from your army, you can re-roll the dice if that enemy unit was only selected for the target of the charge. So you get to re-roll charge rolls if you're selecting one unit to charge with your unit. We've already got lots of other stuff that allows us to re-roll charge and advance and charge.
So like Winter's mentioned that you could then, it doesn't need to be one unit charging it either. So if you have the target of the charges, you pick one unit. So
you select the enemy unit, yeah.
And then you can pick.
If you've got 10 units charging that one enemy unit, they can all re-roll. Yeah, absolutely.
The only downside is about the whole rolling into the next assault phase and being able to attack the next thing and fight again. Actually, you kind of give that up, but
it depends what you're trying to murder.
You could murder one thing and roll 3 inches into the rest of their army and just tie them up.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's other bonuses to this. Like if you're at this point hunting a specific character who's causing you problems, and your tactical doctrine is active, and you just want to fight that character and kill him, maybe he's Gilliman. You're
going to need a lot. So send it
You're
all.
going to charge everything at him. You're going to reroll your charges. You're going to get hit combat, get +1 to wound, +1 to hit. Absolutely, yeah. Cool. Stranglehold is 2 CPs. Use it at the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins if your army includes Raven Guard Scout or Raven Guard Phobos units. Until the end of your battle round, you can roll a d6 each time your opponent spends a command point. I like this one as well, by the way. You can spend until the end of your battle round, you can roll a d6 each time your opponent spends a command point to use a stratagem. On a 5+, your opponent must spend 1 additional command point, or else that stratagem has no effect and cannot be used again this phase. The command points spent so far are then lost. You can only use a stratagem once per battle. So in the first battle round, you can basically make them spend an extra command point. You have to roll a 5+ for it, so it's not turbo broken, because this is a gamble. But if you're looking at an army that's likely to spend a bucket ton of command points in the first turn, you can really sting them with this. It's quite nice. Yeah. What's funny is if you're both playing Raven Guard and you try and use Stranglehold, I wonder if they can use it on you to make you spend 3 command points for Stranglehold. Anyway, False Flight, 2 CPs. Use this stratagem when a Raven Guard unit from your army falls back. That unit can shoot and charge in this turn. Yeah. So no penalty for falling back. Lay Low the Tyrants. If a Raven Guard infantry or bike unit basically attacks a character that's not a vehicle and contains any models with the rune characteristics of 4 or more, add 1 to the rune roll, which is really cool. It's in the fight phase as well. So in the fight phase, you're targeting a big Tyranid beastie. You're basically targeting a high wound character, so more than 4 wounds. Yeah. That isn't a vehicle. You get +1 to wound. So it's like Vets of the Long War.
You're targeting monsters, really?
Not necessarily. I mean, let's face it. A Chaos Lord's 5 wounds. So that's more than 4 wounds straight away. Yeah. A Primaris Captain 6 wounds. So that's instantly able to be +1 to wound against him. Yeah. That's really cool. It's another character hunter, but it's a high power character hunter.
So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing infantry and character.
But it also says a wounds characteristic. In fact, actually, to be fair, it says against a character that is not a vehicle or against a unit that is not a vehicle and contains any models with a wound characteristic of 4 or more. So actually, any character can be targeted because they're all 4 wounds or more anyway. And you're talking about units that have got 4 wounds or more. So you can't target, for example, with this stratagem, you can't target aggressors for argument's sake because they're 3 wounds. Mm-hmm. But obliterators that are 4 wounds, +1 to wound. They're 4 wounds or more. They're a unit that is not a vehicle and contains any models with a wounds characteristic of 4 or more. So you can use this against obliterators and stuff like that. Ooh. That's really nice. +1 to wound against things like a blitz is really cool. See but remain unseen. Single command point. Select a Raven Guard unit from your army that did not make any attacks during that turn until the start of your next turn. You get an additional -1 to hit on that unit. That's cool.
How much was that? 1 CP.
1 CP, yeah. So you have to have not attacked, so you can't have shot with them or done anything with them.
You could play that if you're going second at the start of your...
Use the stratagem at the end of your turn.
Right.
At the end of your turn, select 1 Raven Guard unit.
You know that whole reading the bit that you want to read.
So you have defend objective 5, and you put this unit on defend objective 5, and you really want to hold that objective. Play a stratagem at the end of your turn for 1 command point, and then when they're trying to kill you on it because you have to hold it for 2 turns, you're -1 to hit. It's quite useful. Yep. But you can't shoot.
But what would be good is if you have your character hidden slightly behind a very easy to kill bunch of scouts or someone like that, then that's going to make them really hard to kill.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you basically put a better roadblock in the way. Yeah. Like it's quite. I think there's actually but Remain Unseen has actually got a lot of utility. So a lot of people go, well, I can't attack. But if you think about the way that game plays out, and I mean, even if you could be turn 7, right? It could be your last unit on the battlefield. You could be more than 12 inches away from the enemy and in cover. So suddenly you've got -1 to hit already. You stack that one on there for an additional -1 to hit your -2. Just hold on, lads, and don't die. And we're going to win this because we're command points. There's lots of utility to this. There's specific situations, I get it. Yeah. There's lots of utility to this rule, which is really, really cool. Strike from the Shadows is another single CP. During deployment, select a Raven Guard infantry unit from your army. You can set up that unit in ambush instead of setting it up on the battlefield. If you do, at the end of your movement phases, you can set up the unit anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from it. So it's like a deep strike, but with any infantry unit. Now, what I like about this one is if you take something like, and I love this by the way, Flamestorm Aggressors.
Okay.
In Deep Strike Reserve, essentially.
Yeah.
So you can be a Raven Guard Successor chapter that doesn't happen to have the Inheritors of the Primarch stratagem, but not stratagem, sorry, chapter tactic, but it says have the +3 inches to your weapons.
Yes.
11-inch flaming aggressors that can deep strike 9 inches away. Whoop whoop.
But mine are blue, Liam.
That's the downside, yeah. Maybe again, I'm spitballing quick combinations that I'm literally thinking off the top of my head because I've been at work all day. I think that works. I think if you take that half of a successor chapter tactic, give it to your aggressors for +3 inches, your Flamestorm aggressors, then deep strike in 9 inches away. With your, especially with your tactical doctrine active as well. Yes, we like that. Vengeance Fists is Van 5, same. You can in the fight phase you get to reroll attacks. Basically against Wordbearers, Iron Warriors, Night Lords, Alpha Legion. Ambushing Fire, 2 CPs. Use this stratagem at the start of your movement phase if the tactical doctrine is active. And this is the one you're going to want active. I like this as well, actually. A lot of these are encouraging you to be active in the one you want to be active in.
Yep.
Until the start of your next battle round, when resolving an attack made with a rapid fire or assault weapon by a Raven Guard model from your army, on an unmodified wound roll of a 6, the armor penetration characteristic weapon is improved by 1. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. I don't think it's insanely amazing. What's different with this one compared to the other one is this one is for the tactical doctrine. So you're talking about weapons that aren't historically high AP anyway, and it does stack.
And it does stack
because it says it does,
and it's a stratagem.
Yes,
not a warlord trait. It's a stratagem.
Specifically says it's there. Rapid fire or assault weapon by a Raven Guard model in your army, and on a modified 1 of 6, the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon is improved by an additional 1 for that attack. It specifically states it stacks. So now you're talking about snipers. I mean, even scout snipers and stuff are now becoming with tactical doctrine. I actually know because they're heavy weapons.
They're heavy weapons.
Damn. But yeah, okay. Let's talk about Boltstorm Aggressors.
Yeah,
they're not heavy, are they?
They're assault.
Yeah, I think.
It's all assault.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so Flames. Actually, there's some really cool stuff in here.
They're assault as well.
So we deep strike some Flamestorm aggressors with +3 inches to their range, 9 inches away. So they get 11-inch range. We spend another 2 CPs for ambushing fire. Whilst tactical doctrine's active, they become AP -3 Flamestorm aggressors. They're -1 standard. -1.
No, it's just 0.
I thought the heavy flame is.
No, they're not heavy. They're Flamestorm gauntlets.
Right, okay.
So they're 4-0-1.
But still, they're
-2.
-2 flamers.
-2 auto hitting.
Ooh.
Yeah, 8 inches +3. So you are going to get your 11 inches. So 2d6. Yeah, you are going to get that.
I'm very excited by this stuff.
And then even your Boltstorm gauntlets, auto Boltstorm gauntlets, is the same stat line, but so you'd be -2. So
yeah, and buckets and buckets and buckets of attacks.
Absolute ton of them.
Decapitating Blow, another 2 CPs. When the enemy warlord is destroyed by an attack made by a Raven Guard unit from your army, until the end of the battle, subtract 1 from the leadership characteristics of enemy units. That's actually kind of cool as well. And people go, well, is it that great? But if you think about it, right?
Yep.
If you think about taking the head off of an Orc war boss, so the rest of your Orc warband is at -1 leadership, or NIDs where they've got little tiny bugs and they're not in synapse and stuff that's low leadership anyway.
Yep.
That's actually quite a big deal to make the whole army AP leadership -1. And there's no range to this. So a lot of the leadership shenanigans that exist in other books require you to be within 9 inches or within 12 inches or whatever. This is just a -1 to leaderships. We have a deadly prize.
That would stack though, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Cool.
We have a deadly prize for a single command point. Select one objective marker that is within 3 inches of any Raven Guard infantry units from your army and not within 3 inches of enemy units. The next time an enemy unit ends a move within 3 inches of that objective marker, roll a d6. On a 2 to a 4, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. On a 5+, it suffers 3 mortal wounds. You cannot use this stratagem on the same objective marker more than once per battle. What that means is, if you've got, say, 6 objectives, 2 in your zone, 2 in the middle, and 2 in the enemy zone, and you put scouts and stuff on the 2 in the middle, you can booby trap objectives.
Damn straight.
So you're playing tactical objective cards. Booby trap the 2 in the middle. So turn 1, booby trap that one. Turn 2, booby trap that one. Turn 3, do yours. It's only a CP, and you're going to eat CPs fast. They get secure objective that's not in their zone. Come on then, come and have some mortal wins. Come on then.
Do you have to move away, or do you have to? It doesn't say anything about moving away, does it? It just says you have to be nearer.
You have to be within 3 inches of objective marker with no enemies within 3 inches, and you can play the stratagem, and then you can bugger off.
Yeah,
stays
or die and get shot off.
Stays booby trapped.
Yeah.
Sweet. We like that. Force their hand.
I love that.
I like this one as well, actually. This one's really cool. Use this stratagem after your opponent generates tactical objectives at the start of their turn. Select one objective marker in your opponent's deployment zone. If you control that objective marker and there were any Raven Guard infantry or Raven Guard bike units from your army within 3 inches of that objective marker, you can select one of your opponent's active tactical objectives. That tactical objective is discarded, and your opponent generates a new tactical objective. You can only use a stratagem once per turn, and only if the mission you're playing uses tactical objectives. So if you're in their zone, if you've deep struck in, or you've infiltrated or whatever, and you're in their zone and you control an objective marker, and they pull their 3, 4, 5, 6 tactical objective cards, and you are holding that objective in their deployment zone, you can spend a CP and go, that one that I've pulled Kingstone, I've already killed your Warlord. Yeah, not anymore. Get rid of that one. Pull a new one, please. So I quite like that one, again, for tactical flexibility in Maelstrom of War missions. That's really cool. Strike from the skies. You just make lovely noises when you read the chat, don't you, all the time?
I do, sorry guys.
Use this stratagem at the start of your charge phase. Select one Raven Guard jump back unit. Until the end of that phase, the unit can be chosen to charge even if it advances this turn. And when the charge roll is made for that unit, add 1 to the result. Yet again, you can and the thing is with this one, you can strike from the skies, you can redeploy a jump pack unit 9 inches away, and then you've got an 8-inch charge because you add 1. If you want to use that way, or if you're not going to redeploy them, you can advance them and charge, and only have -1 to your charge range as well. So that again, there's lots of flexibility on that one, I think. Master, and actually +1 to charge rolls when it comes to 9 inches away, as Tyranid players of adrenal glands tell you, and things like that. It does make a big difference as well. Master of the Trifold Path, it basically allows you to gain an additional Warlord trait as per before. Favour of the Riven Spire. Allows you to take a character that's a sergeant with an additional mastercrafted weapon, or that sort of thing. And then the Token of Brotherhood gives you a Raven Guard relic for your Raven Guard successor chapter character. So they're all 3 standard ones that we've seen in the other books as well. Yeah. Now, I don't think those abilities are as strong as the Iron Hands in terms of a really easy to play, chuck your army down and go for it type ability.
I think you have to think about it a lot more.
I think they have a lot more flavour. I think they have a lot more trickery. And you can, there's 3 or 4 abilities that allow you to redeploy. There's 3 or 4 abilities that allow you to advance and charge. There's other abilities that allow you to reroll charges. There's 1 or 2 abilities that allow you to fall out and still charge. It's chaos and carnage all over the place for these. It's incredible. The fact that you can jump in, jump out, you can jump in, you can jump out, jump back in, you can really screw with your opponent.
Yeah.
At the meantime, you're basically phantasming everywhere. That's the thing. Just so you can strike at their Warlord. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love the fact that, I think if I was a Raven Guard player now, I think I would go into, because we play narratively, right? We don't tend to I want to win because I like winning, but I'm not going to do everything I can to win no matter what. It's about telling the story.
Yeah.
And now, if I was to be a Raven Guard player, playing with friends and stuff like that, I would be like, my goal for this mission, whether I'm playing Big Guns Never Tire or I'm playing Cleanse and Capture or whatever I'm playing, my goal is to kill your Warlord. Full stop.
I think that's definitely it.
That's cool.
You're taking the shot from the other side of the air.
And imagine if you can set up as well. Imagine if you can set up narrative games now between you and your opponent, when you go, okay, this is your objectives. My sole objective for the game is kill your Warlord. If I do that, I win.
That only works if they are fully playing narrative. So therefore,
absolutely.
What they're not doing is bringing 3 squads of sniper scouts and 3 squads of eliminators. No, and I agree.
I mean, if you're taking a couple more units of scouts or snipers instead, you could suggest maybe that the rule is I kill your characters, all of your characters.
So they're bringing jump pack units, assault marines, they're still a bit average. More like Vanguard vets.
Yeah.
With their jump jump
That's really
packs.
cool. Vanguard.
Reavers.
I mean, it's a shame. It's a
Shame they're still
this is
single
one
wound,
of
but
this is one of the things that I like. I've looked at Marine stuff since all the new Marine results have come out. Like I said when we did the original release for the new Marine Codex, it was the first time I'd ever been tempted to collect Marines. Now, because of the, with the exception of stupid jumpy derpy dudes, because of the exceptional beauty, I think, of the Primaris range, and they are beautiful models, the Mark 10 armor is just so much better. I wouldn't be happy nowadays building and collecting personally. Nothing wrong with it, guys. If you're doing it, nothing wrong with this. No. I wouldn't be happy building and painting mini Marines when there's that sweet Mark 10 armor sat right there. Personally, it's my choice.
I agree, and I currently play that.
If you look at the Vanguard Vet kit, it is gorgeous. I just want it to be a bit bigger.
Yeah.
And that's all. I don't even just make it a bit bigger. Just make it Mark 10 size, and then I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I'd take Vanguard Vets and give them 2 wins. But yeah, that makes me sad.
Oh, it is
and I
sad.
was kind of hoping that with things like maybe Raven Guard, you'd be looking at a new set of Primaris jump pack troops that don't look like they've 1960s Neil Armstrong or something.
I don't think you're going to get unique flavoured sort of models, except for those odd characters. Like you're not going to get whole units.
Why do the jumpy dudes have, like with the bolters and the blasters, why do they have those big helmets at the top that make them look like they're like old divers?
That's because they jump in from space.
They're old divers.
Yeah, but they deep strike from space. That's the whole point.
There's no need for that. We've got drop pods.
It's Halo jumping.
Childish, we've got drop pods.
That's what they are.
Don't need drop pods.
Low altitude.
You've got drop pods.
High altitude. No, what's the
Halo? High altitude, low oxygen.
Yeah, what's the one where they drop and they open their parachutes really, really low?
Stupidity.
Okay, there we go. So that's what they do. So in when they were grey shields, that's what they used to do. So they drop in from space, fly down like meteors, and then fire the rockets when they're about 20 to 30 feet off the floor, and then hit them like a brick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not a fan. They could have made something that looked significantly cooler.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. So finally, in the Raven Guard book, we've got the Umbramancy discipline, where they sing My Chemical Romance songs and things happen. So Umbral form has a warp charge value of 5. If manifested until the start of your next psychic phase, the Psyker has a 4+ invulnerable save. I quite like it. It's cool because you can put it on your basically I want to take a new Phobos Librarian.
Yeah.
And I want to take Umbral Form and Spectral Blade.
Okay. So what do they do?
So Envelop in Darkness is number 2. Warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches invisible to the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, that unit cannot fire Overwatch. And when resolving an attack made by that unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Okay. That's cool. I like that. That's a really good power. I genuinely think it's really good. Stopping people from overwatching and giving them -1 to hit. So you're not overwatching my Terminators, and when you're in combat, you're going to be -1 to hit as well. That's cool.
You can really, really shut down a whole army. It's Overwatch.
Yeah. So a Spectral Blade, which is the one I want to take with Umbral Form on my Psyker, is a warp charge value of 5. If manifested until the start of your next psychic phase, the Psyker's strength characteristic is equal to their leadership characteristic. In addition, until the start of your next psychic phase, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by the Psyker against a unit whose highest leadership characteristic is lower than the Psyker's, the weapon has an armor penetration characteristic of -4.
But that's for the Librarian.
Yeah.
So you've got a punchy Librarian in a Raven Guard army that wants to just strike from the shadows.
That's what I want to do. And you put that on a Librarian with a Force Sword that in tactical doctrine's got +1 to hit, +1 to wound against characters. You put a Spectral Blade on an Umbral Form and you go hunting characters as a Librarian. Cool.
Okay. Your Phobos Librarian.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. So you infiltrate 9 inches away. You give him a Warlord trait or relic or whatever it is that allows him to reroll his failed charges. Just loads of stuff you could do.
Yeah, to be fair, that's the only way you're going to get him across the board.
You can make with that big robed Librarian and his little I'm poking at my head thing. You can make a really cool assassin, basically, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that's amazing. Shadow Step, warp charge value of 7. Select one Raven Guard character from your army within 8 inches of the Psyker. Remove that unit from the battlefield and set up anyone on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away. You can do it loads. There's like 4 or 5 things that lets you do this. Just move stuff around.
Thought you knew where I was going.
The Abyss. That's like it's like the jump, isn't it? Kinda.
Yeah.
Although you're picking a Raven Guard character.
You are. You're jumping your.
You're jumping a character
to the other side of the field.
Ooh, I wonder if you
had to pick someone within range, didn't you?
So you give your Smash Captain like the Raven's Fury jump pack. So you give him the Raven's Fury jump pack as a smash captain. You shadow step him across the board 9 inches away on turn 1. You then charge him with the jump pack that allows you to re-roll the charge rolls, and you hit them, and on a 4+, you do a mortal wound.
You can give him a Warlord trait as well, can't you? So you could give him the you can't Overwatch Warlord trait, can you?
Yeah. You can also, Shadow Master can't fire Overwatch, so give him Shadow Master. Give him the Raven's Fury jump pack, so he can now re-roll his failed charge. Yeah. He can't be target with Overwatch. You can stick Strike from the Skies on him, and because he's a jump pack unit, he gets +1 to his charge rolls as well. So it's an 8-inch re-rollable charge that they can't fire Overwatch. Yeah. And if you've got a Thunder Hammer and Storm Shield and it's Tactical Doctrine, you get +1 to wound and +1 to hit against characters.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
the Abyss.
You'll have to hope that you can find a character.
The Abyss has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 inches invisible as a Psyker. Roll 3d6, and for each roll of a 4+, unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If any models in that unit are destroyed as a result of the psychic power, subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of models in that unit until the end of the turn. Yeah. The Darkness with him. Warp charge value of 6. Select up to 3 enemy units within 8 inches of Psycho. Roll a d6 for each one of those units, adding 1 to the result if the unit is of the psychic success more than 10. On a 4+, it suffers a mortal wound. When you look at the first 4 psychic powers, I don't think you'll see the last 2, because the first 4 are just so much more use. 1 shuts down Overwatch. 1 teleports a character. 1 gives you sight like your librarian a 4+ vulnerable save, and 1 gives him a AP -4 blade and a strength of whatever his leadership is.
I know Winter said it as well, and other people have said it, but you put in with some Reavers and then you take on a Knight. You're not doing quite enough wounds, I think, to actually survive that fight, but you can use your... Because it depends on strength, doesn't it? So toughness of the Knight is 8. You have to... Or leadership of the Knight has to be lower than his leadership, and they are currently the same. So you use Reavers to get it down.
There is combinations where you can drop the leadership as well.
I still don't think you're going to do enough damage to spark out a Knight. But you could use the Super Sword on a Knight. But what you'd be more likely to do is take out a really good character.
It's still. I'm not so fussed about attacking Knights with that sort of thing. I'm not bothered about. I mean, the option's there. You can do it.
You put him in against Guilliman, and you've got some Reavers, like stacking Reavers, so you get 3 squads of Reavers around him. You got your -3 there. Then you've got a good chance of getting him to load enough.
Against Gulliman, you're not really looking at using the Spectral Blade, because his leadership is going to be higher than yours. But
most of the time.
You still could use the 4+ available one, and what you could be looking at is the other psychic powers, like the Phobos ones, that might have some benefit to use for charging into Gulliman and stuff. I mean, if you're taking a lone Phobos librarian against Gulliman, you're brave.
I think it's stupid, but...
Yeah, there's that as well, yeah. But you could also then give him you could give him the combat knife as well and stab him for flat 3 damage a few times. Like that.
It's just a shame that you go up against Abaddon and where you want to do it, and he'll go flat 3 damage. I don't think so. 2.
Yeah, I still 2.
It's still 2,
and he only has 8 wounds. So,
does.
But I mean, the key thing to remember with both these books is there is an absolute bunch of flavour in both of them. They're both insanely narrative, I think, personally, and I actually really. I mean, I think if I had to pick a stronger book out of the 2, I'd pick the Iron Hands book.
It's definitely,
as a
face value,
an easier army to play, an easier list to play. I think it's probably the stronger book.
I think you also can make a few more combinations that will easily work with it. So you can focus around heavy weaponry in your infantry. You can focus around tanks and vehicles. You can mix and match the 2. You can drive around. You don't have to think about changing doctrine.
Yeah.
Your heavy weapons are everywhere, and you don't like... People hate moving heavy weapons.
Yeah.
So it's very quickly, very easily a mobile force.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Raven Guard, definitely a bit more specialist.
Raven Guard, I think, are going to take some finesse to play, in my opinion. And I think Raven Guards... So if we're talking tournament and competitive stuff, when we talk about these two supplements, Iron Hands. And I think that Iron Hands will become a tough choice between Iron Hands and Ultramarines currently, personally. Yeah. I don't think there's a dead set winner. Like I said, one of the reasons why Ultramarines were so insanely popular, well, the 2 main reasons was Gulliman and the ability to fall out and still shoot, so stuff couldn't tie you up. Yeah. Now, Iron Hands get basically with the new Iron Father and a Lieutenant with the specific relic, they get better Gullymen, better buffs for tanks within that range for less points. Yeah. And although they can't fall out and shoot, they have got a stratagem where they can overwatch on 4s. It's not as good as being able to fall out and shoot, don't get me wrong.
No.
But it's still strong. And when you're thinking that these buffs in this castle are going to be buffing things like Last Cannon Predators, Repulsors, Land Raiders, that sort of thing, even Storm Ravens, that sort of thing, you just stick the Storm Ravens and hover and hold around that castle, then you're not going to want to charge them overwatching on 5s, let alone on one of them being on 4s. You're not going to want to. So it's not as good as being able to fall out and shoot. Actually, the Storm Raven castle is even more ridiculous because it's got the fly keyword, so they actually can fall out and shoot.
Yeah. You can't get hard to hit and stay still.
I'm genuinely...
You could start with your Storm Ravens less than 3 inches away from your 5-inch invuln bubble.
Why would you do that?
Well, at the very start, when they're close, then they're hard to hit anyway because they haven't moved.
Yeah.
And then you could enter hover mode and stay there. But do you want -1 to hit or do you want your invuln? Probably -1 to hit.
Yeah.
So you're going to fly around, aren't you?
No, I'd probably go for the invuln.
Would you?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know which one I'd rather have. But the ability to hover those 3 Storm Ravens around those characters with that 5-up invuln and that reducing damage by 1 on Storm Ravens, which are basically flying Land Raiders, is actually really tasty.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The answer is I don't know.
No.
But there is so many combos there now with heavy weapon vehicles and tanks and stuff that you could do with those characters. Both books are incredibly good. Both books, I think, have got their strengths. I think, personally, Raven Guard are going to be more fun for people to play with and against. And against is key for us as well. It's more fun to play against them.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. Because there's so much more things you can do. There's so much more cloak and shadows that it's going to be interesting. And I think, actually, with the way that Raven Guard are working at the moment, you can have 3 or 4 or 5 different Raven Guard players who will play the list differently.
Yeah,
because of all the different options.
And I think if you find a good Ravensguard player, he's going to make you really well. Or they're going to make you. I don't want to be sexist.
My concern,
they're going to make you really work for the win.
My concern with Iron Hands is we might not see that variety because some things in that book are so good.
Yeah,
that Iron Stone for -1 to your damage, I think, is insanely good. That Iron Father for 110 points. If in 2 weeks' time, when the first FAQ comes out, his points don't go up, I'll be surprised at this stage. Yeah. And if they don't, you can almost guarantee they will in chapter approved. I think.
Kill the White Scars by coming you.
The White Scars is about somewhere, yes. Why?
Cool. I kind of want to find it and find out how much their character was.
Not as cheap as these two.
Damn.
Yeah. Coruscant Khan, I believe, was more expensive. Anyway, I think they're amazing books. I think they're very, very narrative. I think Marine players have got even more options. And if your choice wasn't hard enough already, having an Ultramarines Codex and a White Scars Codex to pick from as a successor chapter, it's now even more difficult. And if these books are anything to go by, when the next 2 or 3 codexes come out, when we're looking at the Black Templars, I love the idea of Raven Guard, but I don't know if other Marine players are the same as me. I don't know if other players are the same as me, but at the moment, if I'm looking at maybe making my own successor chapter, I'm currently thinking, actually, I'm not going to bother touching them at all, if I even do. Yeah. I'm basically going to wait until all the codexes are out. We've got 4. There's 8 sub-chapters in the main Space Marine Codex, so I've got to believe we've got 4 more coming. And I want to wait till all 4 of those are out before I make a choice.
I would really think they are. And I know Crimson Fists have got their
They've
White
got like a supplement
thing,
thingy, but it's not. It's a White Dwarf thing. I think they're going to get a proper supplement. So we've got to wait for Imperial Fist, Crimson Fist, Black Templars, and Salamanders. And I think they're all going to be horrendously... Salamanders I'm expecting to be very, very good.
Salamanders already.
And I, personally, I would really genuinely love to see Black Templars get a lot of love. I like the idea of crazy, zealous...
I know you are, but I'm Imperial Fist. I think that's going to be awesome.
I'd love the Imperial Fist if I didn't have to paint yellow.
There is that. I don't think you have to if you go successor. You could paint them black
and
with yellow stripes.
Live on terror and hide in a castle. It's boring. They're not right. I'm only saying that because I know Quips is looking at doing Imperial Fists.
Is he?
Yeah. Sorry, Alex. Anyway, loads of options. Anything you want to add?
No, I'm all good. I haven't seen anything too much in there. Tipton Simon has said, how do we think that it will play? The Raven Guards take away one of their tactical objectives, will play with the Dark Angels, hide your objective cards. No idea.
Yeah, I know.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go for it.
Dark Angel's player hides his cards. Why would you pay command points to try and make him bin one if you don't know what they are? It's 2 command points to make him bin a card. You're just not going to spend it.
So you're just not going to. So
and
you'll be safe, Simon.
And as far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to spend it to make you bin a card, I'm going to have to randomly choose from the deck because you are allowed to hide them as part of the Dark Angel's benefit. And let's face it, Dark Angels are crap at the moment. We don't want to take away one of the cool things they've got.
Yeah. And it'd be interesting to see how that plays out when their Codex eventually gets released, like you would hope they will.
Yeah. Bristol Chess Times asked, does Surgical Strike stack? I don't know what you mean, does it stack with? If you mean, does it stack with other +1 to hits and +1 to wounds? I'm assuming it does, but I don't know because I've already been told that I'm wrong with the AP negative. What does the chapter tactics stuff say with regards to that page 106 malarkey you were reading before? It's interesting because I don't know.
It does specifically say about Storm of Fire. That's why.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. So models in this unit gain bonus depending on which combat doctrine is active for your army. See opposite. If you have a battle forged army, units only benefit from this bonus if their unit from your army has this ability, excluding servitors and unaligned units, unless specified otherwise. This bonus is not cumulative. I can't say that word. It doesn't stack. There we go. With other rules that improve armor penetration characteristics of a weapon. So hit rolls and wound rolls aren't
armor penetration. So what we're saying is, if it modifies an AP and it isn't a rule in here that states it does modify the AP in addition, then it doesn't work. Anything else to hit modifiers, to wound modifiers, they all work. So yes, that's the answer to your question, which is actually quite an important point to make even on the YouTube video. Yeah, so the additional +1 to wounds and +1 to hits that you've got there dotted about the different codexes, they work. You can still use those in conjunction with Surgical Strike, which is really, really cool. Anyway, I was going to be hopefully in bed by 10 o'clock, and you'll notice by the clock right now that it's almost 10 past.
Is it?
So I've failed in that, and I'm going to have to go and see the wrath of the wife because I had to get through 2 supplements. And I thought when we finished the Iron Hands, well, maybe I'll knock this on the head and do it tomorrow night as well, but no, I want a night off tomorrow night because I've been working hard. So hope you enjoyed that read through. Less of an FAQ this time because they're supplements, so there's not a lot we can sort of answer in terms of FAQs. We're happy to talk about these on things like the Discord as well, though. So I've got these books in hand. If you are in our deploymentzone.tv Discord, you can drop me a line in Ask Questions. There's Ask Liam and Winter's questions or just whatever. I don't mind where you put them. If they're new releases or whatever, ask me questions, tag me. And if I can answer them, I'll answer them. I'm about to go to bed and die, though, so it might have to wait until later on in the week. But I will answer them if you're in the Discord community for DZTV.
And Winters has said that he'll be around answering
absolutely.
questions as well for next week.
He's on night, so
yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about DZTV, it's brand spanking new. We just launched it yesterday at the point of filming this. It's our new Patreon page. It's linked in the video description below, both on YouTube and on Twitch. You can click the link. You can pledge to us on Patreon and come and join the DZTV community. It is replacing the Warhammer and Winters communities and Patreon pages. We're not being that greedy. I'm going to try and charge you 15 times. Just 14.
That would be awkward.
Yeah, so that is our new Discord community. We're both in there now. It's chaos, right?
Oh, massively.
Brom's an emoji.
I'm a lieutenant.
You're an Ultramarines emoji. That's incredible.
There's so many emojis as well. It's just not. Yeah. It's just a little too much sometimes. The what have we got? Okay, so there's myself.
Yeah, me.
You. Winters. Farseer
Winters, yeah.
Dark Angels Chris.
Yeah.
As a Dark Angel. As a Fallen.
Yeah. We've got Custody Quipster.
Yeah. Lorgar.
Who's that?
I think there's a Lorgar in there.
There's a horrible one of poor old Sorcerer Dave. Anyway,
there's a Sorcerer Dave.
It's a chaos community. It's a DZTV community. Come and join it already. Loads and loads and loads of people have joined it already. In the first 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, we've had over 125 people join the community already. So come and join it. It's chaos. It's busy. There's loads and loads of threads. There's loads and loads of different topics. There's loads of access to stuff. There's discount codes for Den of Imagination. There's discount codes for GameMat.eu. There's discount codes for the foreground something. I can't remember, they don't call them 4 grand strain anymore. It's 4 grand something else, publications or something. There's 15% off 4 grand as well. That's what I'm trying to say. Matt from Elements in there. You can ask him questions if you've got Element Games order and you're one of our subscribers. So you get all those discount codes plus more. If you're a premium subscriber on Patreon, you also get early access to all of our community events, tickets, and there's going to be lots of events. We're promising 3 events next year, which is really cool. A narrative event, a competitive event, and an open day. It's getting big. People come and join the community. It's going to be an awesome place to come and hang out.
3 people joined while we were on stream.
Oh, wow. Jesus. Oh, there you go. So come and join it. I can't wait for it to fill up and become more busy and speak to all you wonderful people. There's been some amazing feedback. That community supports our website. You've seen it across the top of the screen. It's www.deploymentzone.tv. That's our premium website with loads and loads of video content where you can come and check out more battle reports, more sit and talks. We've just worked out how to start running live streams from it as well. So we're going to put some live streams on DZTV. They won't replace these, so don't panic. But we are going to put some on there. We're also doing sit and talks. Winters is about to get a webcam and a mic.
Oh, geez.
I know, yeah, absolutely.
To be fair, he's already branched out. He's got an Instagram.
He has got an Instagram, yeah, and we're all on Instagram as well. Loads and loads of stuff, loads of ways to communicate with the channel, to engage with us, to chat with us, and just to talk about this hobby that we love so much. And that Games Workshop, I honestly think currently are knocking it out of the park, even if Iron Hands are a bit strong. So that's about it.
I'm alright with it.
Yeah, anything you want to add, mate?
No, I'm happy.
I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.